Welcome to Journey Through the Gate, the Paranormal Portal podcast, as we delve into the many questions and wonders brought on by this supernatural experience. What's on the other side of the gate? Let's find out together. Hello, gatekeepers. How are you doing? I know that was one hell of an intro, right? Thanks to all the artists and the wonderful music. And, gosh, there's so much out there. Whatever your taste. And hopefully it's good taste. But, who's to say? Who's to say who likes what, I look at some of that stuff that I put together and I'm like, God, I'm a sicko. But you can't help but laugh. You can't help but laugh at this stuff. These guys are taking, women alike, taking all these like old Renaissance, paintings and pop art and making their stuff out of just thin air, like artists have done forever. But there's so many different ways now to express it, because when I was growing up, you have to understand many of my family members were involved in advertising. So my dad worked for a really big paper, Asbury Park Press. And he was the guy who hand drew all the advertisements. So, if there was a sale on whatever, and they had that client, he'd be drawing a Zenith or a car or whatever. All this stuff was hand drawn, as only some pictures that, people were taking out in like an accident or whatever. Most of the advertisements were all done by hand. And my mother was involved with the same thing. And I look at this now and I think, wow, look at what they're making, on a computer. CGI. It's amazing. In my lifetime, it's kind of like last weekend, looking all the way back to 1923, right, guys? I mean, 100 years. I'm still thinking about Lon Chaney. I'm going to talk about that tonight with my friend who I just heard pop in. I think I might hear some rustling in the grass. I think maybe. Are you ready, Steve? Thumbs up. Are you good? All right, let's bring this old rattlesnake in here. Wait a minute. I think you just said, wait a minute. Ladies and gentlemen. I was going to say something funny, but I'm going to get myself in trouble. I was going to say that I caught him naked or something, give him a chance to throw flannel on or something. Let's get him in here. Ready or not, here we come. This old rattlesnake. Steve.
Hey, I'm still getting set up here.
Are you?
Had a wardrobe malfunction and all kinds of stuff going on. So, but I am here. And
purveyor of cookies. I want a cookie.
I've got a cookie story to tell you.
Tell me
as soon as I can pull the podcast
welcome
over.
All these people when you're ready.
I will tell.
Blue Crossroads, welcome in. Do you not agree that music really can heal the soul? I hear the Blue Crossroads is getting back out there, and you absolutely should, because I'll tell you what, we just lost a band member of Rogues on the Run. So Phil and your family, you're out there. We're sending you healing vibes, and we hope you crossed over into that wonderful light, and I hope you're, playing whatever music you want to play. He was a bass player, terrific energy, always, jumping up and down. He was like the Tigger of the group. He was always bouncy trouncy, and you know, it's so quick. It's just so life is fragile, how fragile we are. Hello, Vixen Doe. Hello, Ann Palmer. Thank you all for coming in. Those of you guys that came in. We had a hella intro tonight because last night I hit a button, Steve,
I
and
missed it.
everything went cattywampus. I had it all set up. So see, probably go with forefall. I was set up 2 hours for the show, and 10 minutes into the show, I hit a button. There she went. There she went. But
Is
it was
that
a
a?
good 10 minutes. Yeah,
Oh,
I threw all my videos out and had to go back and retrieve them and didn't know
yeah.
where they were. It was like an Easter
I
egg,
hate it
man.
when that happens.
Oh, geez.
And you're looking
Hit a
around.
button.
When I do stuff on this computer, I put everything on the desktop. That way, when I load something into StreamYard, I don't have to go looking for it because I've got a home network. It could be over there on
It could
this
be anywhere.
computer, one of the two in there.
I feel like a
It could
weather
be
person.
anywhere.
If you guys could see, I've got 4 screens right here, and it's just like, and everybody's doing something at a different time. Like you just went around my studio. You went boop 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 boop
Yeah,
boop.
I've
boop.
got four, and when
Yeah,
somebody calls me on Messenger, it rings all over the house. It comes in on everything. I've
yeah.
got four monitors here. One, two, three, four. I've got a laptop over there. I've got a phone here, an iPad over here, my Echo Fire over here. I can't say the Alexa. Got two more computers in there. It's a mess, but it's boy, I have a lot of fun. I ain't got a lot of sense, but I have a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. And for all the would-be burglars listening, tomorrow night
Yeah,
we're going to describe his security system,
my dog will remove your
and
genitals.
and we'll go and we'll bring on the 6 Doberman pinchers that run around the outside of the moat that is filled with alligators and cottonmouth. Right? That's your cottonmouth.
A
Was it bear
rattlesnake. Somebody
traps?
called me a rattlesnake.
Was it bear?
The other day she called me Rattlesnake Romeo. I like that. That
Yes.
sounds like a country song.
I just throw them out there, folks. It's like bumper stickers. Let's just throw them out there and see what sticks to the refrigerator. That's all. I like that T-shirt, my friend.
Black
How's
Sabbath.
it been going?
It's been going good. And my apologies to Ozzy, Tony,
Ozzy.
Bill, and Geezer if we caused you any harm by talking about Sabbath tonight.
Oh
That
my
was not
gosh. I
not
think
the
those boys are
intention
protected.
nor the intent, but we've killed
Those
a few people
those
on this
boys went through
show.
the 70s. They're immune.
We did get
Hey Glenn,
Yoko
welcome
Ono
in.
out of the Dakota, and then the next stop the ground.
Hello,
But
Midnight
anyway, let me tell
Society.
you this story.
You tell me a
And if you
story,
notice,
Steve.
I've got a slightly different spelling of my name there tonight. Stick Stockman.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Uh-oh. Are you trying to mess with me, Steve?
not exactly.
Okay.
But Midnight Society and I, we're working on some projects together. She's my favorite person in the whole world. Well, her birthday was Saturday. So
A
what
birthday
I
to
did,
you.
being the co, you've co-authored a book with me. You know what
Uh-huh.
that experience is like.
Uh-huh. Yes, I do.
I sent her. I ordered her some cookies from Insomnia Cooking Company, Worcester, Mass. But what I didn't realize,
Oh,
this
two,
cookie
one, three,
company,
four.
it's not called Insomnia Cookie Company for no reason. They deliver till 3 a.m. So when
Okay.
I scheduled the delivery for Saturday morning for her birthday, I actually scheduled it for Friday at midnight when Friday rolls into Saturday
Uh-oh.
instead of at lunchtime. And she had lunch coming too. That worked out okay. So
Oh,
I
wow.
scheduled all this
Hey, Glenn.
Thursday through DoorDash, and I had to call the cookie company, Insomnia Cookie Company, Worcester, Mass. She loves this story, and I called them Friday morning
Happy
to get this
birthday.
straightened out because otherwise they're going to be delivering cookies at midnight, which not necessarily a bad thing.
Sounds like a country
But
song.
I got cookies at midnight. I got cookies at midnight. Something I don't know. I'm not a songwriter nor a
More
singer.
deep south. More deep south. Cookie. I'm hearing it low. I'm hearing it.
Cookies.
It's
That's
gotta
about
be
as
a.
far as I can get. You're going to make me grab Johnny over here and start picking and grinning here in a minute. But anyway, so I called Friday morning and talked to somebody there, and the poor person that I
You're
got
welcome, baby.
couldn't understand me, and I couldn't understand them. Again, this is Massachusetts, and I was trying to explain that I had ordered cookies, and I didn't want them to be there at midnight. I wanted them to be there at noon. And this girl was she couldn't understand my accent. Can you imagine what's wrong with anybody?
Holy shit.
and, and I hear it's like, this man need help. Can you help him?
Oh
And it
my.
passes me off to somebody else. This girl was from Puerto Rico. She couldn't understand me either. And
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
I'm saying that the
What's
ordered
all
name,
coming to
my name is under Stockton. And and they couldn't understand that. What? Stickman?
sticks
Stickman.
stock me.
Stickman. Steve Stickman. Steve the
Okay.
Stickman. So, and I'm trying to
9:30.
explain, no, and they got me so flustered, I misspelled my own name. I said, no, Stockman,
Oh, just fucking
Stockman.
leave it.
And
Fucking leave it.
I'm like, no,
Just
no, no,
leave it.
wait, Stockton, like Stockton, California.
Oh, jeez.
I don't understand you. So
Oh my
finally, they
gosh.
got the store manager on the phone. She was a Southie. She's from the area.
Get somebody who speaks Southern.
Worcester is the second most populous city in Massachusetts, apart from Boston or below Boston. It's close to Providence. It's close to Boston. So anyway, got her on. They couldn't find the order, so I had to call DoorDash. It was like the DoorDash secret number, like the deep support. That was what they called it. You need to call deep support. So I'm on the dark web here trying to get these cookies delivered
Anybody
on time.
translate for me? I need somebody who speaks Southern. Deep South. Think Appalachian.
Hey, don't y'all speak no Southern up there? Get Jeff Foxworthy on the phone. He'll straighten you out. But anyway, and he's from Michigan.
Oh,
So anyway, I called deep support, and the girl that I got a hold of, she's working from home. Her baby's crying. She ended up hanging up on me. I think it was by accident. I don't know. So I called back, had to go through the whole spiel again. Finally, nobody could find the order. They didn't know if it'd be there or not. But so Midnight Society set an alarm for midnight. She snoozed the alarm.
Oh, midnight for nothing.
And when she did go out there to finally get the cookies about 1:00 in the morning, something or someone had opened the box and taken one cookie out of it. We think it was either the driver or maybe a rabid skunk. She's going to go get tested for rabies in case it licked the other ones. But she got shorted a cookie.
See, this is what I don't like, folks. When did it become okay to add like 4 or 5 people in between you and your food? I don't understand that.
Granted, I would have preferred to deliver it in person, but that was couldn't do that at the time.
Take it from somebody who's worked in restaurants, multiple of, and many different ones. You don't want a lot of people between you and what you're going to eat.
Again,
and you certainly don't want to make them mad.
Exactly.
And now you got Jim Bob running around barely with a license, driving around, going through your fries. You don't think they're sliding a couple fries or onion rings about that bag?
Maybe lick the icing off your cookie or something.
But I don't even like the pizza delivery.
Be nice to people that handle your food. My dad told me that a long time ago.
By all means.
If people that handle your food, work on your car, anything where it could put you in danger later. But anyway, the box arrived when she did bring it in. The side was ripped open and one cookie was gone. It was either skunk or the driver.
Livid.
I've got a case open with DoorDash to get that cookie replaced.
You better open a case. I'm telling you what.
But now the lunch,
better open a damn case of cookies. That's
the birthday lunch that was delivered on time. It was delicious.
Somebody owes you a cookie.
Yeah, and if you owe her a cookie, and therefore you owe me a cookie, and I ain't happy.
I think you both need to get a case of cookies.
Yeah,
I think you need to take it. I mean, if you're going to bother to, open a case. You better say, I better open a case of cookies.
Better be worth my time and trouble because I'm Steve Stockton.
Show right up
I'm
here
Stockman, whatever my name is.
Don't you fuck with me, damn it.
Don't take no shit off of no cookie deliver person.
I can't leave.
But again, I had no idea, and that was my fault for scheduling at the wrong time. They couldn't call it stoner cookies, I guess, but so insomnia cookies, but they deliver until 3 a.m. Fresh hot cookies. She said
that's not all they're delivering.
The 5 she did get were marvelous.
Gummies, pre-rolls, all this stuff.
Yeah, no, that wasn't that kind of cookie. Wasn't that kind of cookie.
But I'm just saying.
I'm saying people, stoners, they stay up, they get the munchies.
I can't believe I lived to see it.
The cookie place is open until 3 a.m. But anyway, she did get the cookies -1. The lunch that I'd ordered separately from another place, it was delivered on time. hot, fresh. She said it was the best lunch she ever had and the best birthday she ever had. We were over on First Floor Audio's channel that night, and I put a bug in his ear, be in his bonnet, whatever, that it was her birthday, and he did a special version of the birthday song for her. So she felt the love. Happy birthday
Happy
again.
birthday. There you
There,
go.
Midnight
Sorry about the
Society.
cookie. I'm angry about the cookie. I'm going to be thinking about it. That's
Yeah,
just
well,
nasty.
I will keep you.
Somebody's been in your
It
food.
wasn't that kind of stoner cookie. I meant stoners think, oh, I'm hungry. What's open? I get cookies delivered. Yeah,
You know,
delivered till 3 a.m. Who would have thought
the
of such a thing?
chocolate, stuff like that.
And
It
they
just makes your
probably make
stomach
a
numb.
fortune. They probably make a fortune.
Yeah, yeah. But
And
it
the
just,
lunch guy,
I
I
don't like
think
that
he
stuff.
was on a bicycle or something because I actually watched that delivery live on the app, and it took him a while to get to cover the few miles there. But that's the cookie story.
So
I
that
am
was,
a
well,
purveyor of
there you
cookies,
go.
king of cookies, -1.
I'd be upset.
And it was
But
one of the good ones too.
okay,
It was a chocolate macadamia nut cookie. Couldn't have took a sugar cookie or a snickerdoodle. No,
see,
it had to take one of the good
I'm
ones.
pretty sure in some countries that's an act of war.
That in
I mean, you
the
might
Middle
want to look
East,
it up.
they'd get
You
your
might want
hand
to look
cut
it
off.
up.
They
I
get your
mean,
hand cut off. They get you thrown off a roof or
it
something.
could, you know,
They don't mess
I
around.
mean, think about that, man. That's, that's a cookie.
A cookie's a cookie.
No.
That's you don't
See,
mess with another
I'll
man's
go get
cookie.
my stuff, or I'll make my stuff, or I'll go pick it up myself. I don't do buffets. Now I'm not going to lie. I have done a buffet in the past. I was, but then had time to think about it. Once I thought about it, that was it for me, because think about it, and I mean, long before all this mess with, wash your hands every 2 minutes and all that other stuff. I mean, that did make you pay attention, didn't it? I mean, come on now, think about it. You
I've been
started
practicing
thinking
for
about how many
lockdown
people
my
grab a
entire adult
doorknob.
life. I was
But you
or
think,
those shopping carts.
yeah,
I've seen ladies change their baby in the little
yeah,
thing there on the shopping cart,
people nasty.
and
People are nasty.
then you
Then
put
you got
your
people licking
produce in there.
doorknobs and door handles and ice cream at the grocery store, Steve.
For
Doing
clout, there
these
was a
scrounging.
TikTok, and there that explains a lot of it right there. There was a TikTok of a guy licking a toilet seat for clout, and guess what he caught? Ain't no telling what all he
Yeah.
caught, but he did catch
Now,
that
let me
thing
tell
that
you
was going
something.
around.
It's all funny till somebody gets a good case of dysentery. And, the laughing stops right away. I cannot tell
It's all
you
funny till somebody gets the
how,
shits.
good case of
Sorry,
dysentery have you
had
calling
to
for your
go there.
mother. I don't
The
care
Civil War,
how
dysentery killed
smart
as many
alecky your
people
ass
as
is.
bullets did,
Yeah. Oh,
and bullet removal killed a lot of people too.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sepsis because
Yeah.
they just you
That
have.
killed. Yeah. The
I've
Civil
seen some of
War.
those
Hmm.
instruments that they
Hmm.
operated on people with,
Disease
and that
killed.
old
Let's
phrase
just not
"bite the
kid.
bullet." They might give you a
Mhm.
shot of whiskey if you were lucky, but
Honey, I've held bullets in my
no,
hand that had
no
teeth marks in
anesthesia.
it.
Oh yeah,
I mean, come on now, think about that. It's like you think about the cowboys back there biting the reins of whatever, a stick, or how many times have you seen stuff like that?
yeah.
And they say bite the bullet. They actually
They
did
did
in
bite the
the
bullet.
Civil War. And I got one right up here somewhere. I bet you close by. Yep. Look, 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 within distance. Look, within reaching distance. I'm a puzzle, aren't I? The shit I come up with. Look, look, look.
Look at that.
There it is.
That's what you was picking out of yourself, or what they were digging out of
That's
you.
a mini ball.
Yep.
You see
And
that?
I forget. You can tell by the number of rings there whether it was which side it belonged to, supposedly.
Yeah. I think that's something. There's your dent. Look
You
at that.
imagine that. And my grandmother Stockton, her
Get that in
brother,
your arm. You wonder why
or
you
no, it
had
was
to cut.
her uncle had one of those embedded in the back of his skull. She said you could reach back there and feel it. It didn't go all the way in, but they were
That's
scared to take
incredible.
it out. So he walked around for the rest of his life, Civil War veteran, with one of those embedded, kind of
Cisco's
flattened out
magic
in the
shelf.
back of his skull.
That's incredible. I mean, and you see something like that, and it makes you no wonder, Steve, why you had to have your arm or leg cut off, because that thing shatter a bone quicker than all get out.
Oh, can you imagine?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh yeah, and the infection alone killed so many. But how strange is it that I got one of those just within reach? You'd be surprised, right next to the holy
I've
water.
got a high-powered rifle bullet in there in
It's
my other room that I can reach out and put my hand on it, and
the stuff I'm surrounded by
I've
right
sent
now is
people
very,
pictures of it before.
very strange. Hope everybody ever comes in here and evaluates my mental state. You know what I mean? Isn't that like the
That's what I
scariest
told
thing?
Midnight Society. If something happens to me, please delete my browser history.
Absolutely. Yeah, no joke, right? The stuff that we've pulled
I'm
up is
already
like,
on some
I
watch
mean,
lists,
just
I'm
doing
sure.
those videos and stuff, man. I'm like, skeleton death fairy,
Murder,
grim reaper,
how to hide a
this,
body, that kind of stuff.
how to hide
That
a
gets
body.
you on a list.
Yeah, yeah. And YouTube put a mature warning on my sensitive material, mature audiences only. Makes you decide whether you want to go further or not.
We need
It's
adult
very
supervision.
sinister.
That's what they're
Yeah.
telling
And
us.
you know what it's for? I kid you, you cannot make this shit up. They give you a number, and it's a what do you call that when you have a timestamp? A timestamp. So you hit. It's very, very AI, very, very cool. You
Yeah.
hit it, and it takes you right to the prop where they have a problem with your video, and it's an old video. So they're digging up stuff from way back. At least a year,
Hmm.
right? And they say, and God love them. They're entitled to their opinion, but they said here's where you'll find a sampling of what we're talking about this video.
Yeah, they won't come right
So
out
I hit
and
it. No.
say
So I
necessarily.
hit it. I hit this thing, and it takes me to this: a woman describing the ghost in her kitchen. And the problem they have with that is the ghost committed
It
Harry
opted out.
Carey.
It opted
Harry
out. Now, how
Carey
can a ghost do that?
took its own
Afterlife. It
self
took its own
out of the world,
afterlife. How?
and they
How's that
put a
even
warning on the
possible?
entire video.
Can a ghost even do that? Hey, Carol XO, good to see you. Not
This
sorry,
is
I
the
haven't said
world.
hi to everybody. I've
Hey,
been
Carol XO, how you doing,
storytelling.
sweetie?
Aunt
It's Tammy
Edna's
Jane. Go ahead
here.
and say.
Aunt Edna's here at the cult meeting. We can start now. Vixen Doe, good to see you. Vixen, I did get
I
your
know.
email. I will remedy that situation, and I thank you for your address. Sammy
Well, they
Jane,
made it.
good to see you.
They made it look more interesting than it
Sapphire
is.
Elf, Glenn
That's what they
Dennison, a
did.
lot of people. Yeah, I don't know that, but that 18 and
More
over,
people are
that's
gonna
a
watch it
kiss
now.
of death. They will not push that out. The algorithm won't push it.
No, no.
Advertisers won't touch it.
So I need everybody to go out. If you haven't hit the like, please hit the like. That's it. That's the easiest thing you can do to help this
Hit that
channel.
thumbs up like it owes you money.
We're not going to, get million likes and a million people and 100 get me to 100,000. We're not.
Come on, we got 22 watching
You're
and
so
14
glad
likes. Come on, y'all are
that we
slacking.
have the people we have
16
because
likes. We're
not
getting
everybody
there.
wants to hear the truth here. And at this point in time, there's no point in lying about this stuff. We talk about
18
ghosts in
likes.
every situation, angels, UFOs, conspiracies, cryptids, Bigfoots, you name it, and nostalgia, as well as mysteries and things of the ilk. Okay,
Linda Anderson
so
says Facebook wouldn't let him post a text with the word gorilla in it.
there you go. So I mean, it's nuts, right?
The gorillas
It's
were
nuts.
offended.
So that's what we're doing here, and a lot of people want to see that there's demons in my sock drawer. They want to see whatever it is what I'm talking
But
about
the things that they do allow on the platform
is insane.
that is okay, that this is fine. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. But there are things that I find objectionable and in questionable taste, at least.
Yeah,
Oh, that's okay.
yeah,
But you can't
yeah.
mention
but have
SA.
a but have a
You can't
yeah,
have a support group for peoples that have had the R word done to them, forcible assault.
yeah.
You
Or you
can't
can't
say
have a
that
ghost
word.
commit Harry
Even,
Carey in your
yeah,
kitchen.
and you can't say that this is a suicide, or whoops, I almost said it.
Don't even say it.
I won't do it. That you can't say this is a support group for those considering opting out.
This is a support group, all right,
It's the
for the
word,
truth.
and that's where AI is going to kill us.
It's like that little kid's book. It says, "My job is to illuminate all the bullshit."
Yeah,
I mean, at this point,
AI is
if you're
Skynet.
lying, God help you. If you're up here telling people this and that and it's not true, and you're just trying to make money and you're trying to get people to give it to you and all this, I'm just saying, hey, this isn't like something I understand. You can't share with everybody in your family. A lot of times, after all that we've been through, a lot of us aren't even talking to our families. You know what I mean? Or, and not in a mean way, but just that, come on, admit it, you
I'd
avoid it.
have to have a
With a
Ouija
lot of
board to
people, you
talk to
avoid it.
mine, but
You
I
tap,
feel your pain.
but you know what I mean. And you just kind of like tap the brakes a little bit, and you're a little hesitant now, because there's a lot of crap going on. You don't want to hear it.
And
You're
then people lost their entire channels over something stupid like that.
Yep, 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 and telling the truth and turned out to be truth, and It's still the truth, and they're still gone. And that's the way it is. So we absolutely want to keep the channel. We want to keep everybody we have, and we realize that it's like an acquired taste. And I've got people losing their minds because they say I don't let Steve talk.
Like Steve's what?
I don't let Steve talk. And
Oh,
I say,
it's
honey,
your
take
show,
this.
sweetheart.
I say, take all of this. You take the links to his shows, and then you get to see Steve all the time. This is a conversation between Steve and I, and the chat, and whatever we're talking about, because we don't know what we're talking about half the time. But it's so weird because it really is being on the front porch just having a conversation.
Yeah, just shooting the breeze, chewing the fat,
That's what it is.
shooting the shit. I'll spell it. Can the AI
We can go
spell?
in any direction at any time, and probably will, and it may or may not make sense, but I'll tell you what, it'll be the truth as we see it at this moment.
Mama Gum talks truth.
You can call me an old broad, an old buzzer, I don't care what. At this point, I just want somebody to hear whatever it is they need to hear in their time, in their journey, that might make sense, and help them out down the road,
There
because
are no coincidences, and I guarantee you, every
yeah,
show we do, that's meant for somebody out there,
somebody.
somebody somewhere. They may play it back a year from now, but they will hear something that they needed to hear.
Yep,
There,
especially
there
since
is
I
no
said it last
coincidence.
night to
We are
Lynn.
here.
I said, between me and Steve, I said to Lynn, and I feel like it's a joke, but I feel like it's almost close to true, that his spirit guides and my spirit guides have lunch about 3 times a week, right,
Yeah,
Steve?
and they say, now what are we going to do with these
What are we
two?
gonna do with these? And they said that him stuff, they said me stuff, and we just roll with
And
it.
my spirit guide send her spirit guide stuff and say, tell
Tell Steve
your
this.
person to tell Steve about this. And boy, howdy. Just a
Zinger
recent
every
situation
time.
some of you know
Banga,
about.
banga,
A
banga,
lot
banga
of you have no
every time.
idea. Cisco warned me probably 2 weeks ahead of time, maybe even before that. Watch out for this. And boy, there it came. And
Bing, bing, bing. At this point in time, he doesn't even like a speed bump now. And listen, it's not me. It's like I said, his spirit guides, my spirit guides have lunch about 3 times a week. They have more social life than either one of us put together. But they get together and are always conspiring stuff. They'll put him in places he needs to be, me in places. They'll take this show and do things with it, like ghosts are walking through it, portals are getting,
yeah.
closed. It
Well, like
shouldn't be.
that message that lady sent me where she was listening to me and paying attention on the car thing.
Just
Her
that
husband
moment.
had a seizure, and otherwise she would have been asleep. She was able to get
Just that
him
moment.
off the wheel, get him off the gas pedal, get the car pulled over, and she said, "Thank you that we were able to go home to our
Yep.
7-year-old daughter."
Yep. And
So
people,
again, that wasn't
lovely
even me.
comment.
That was my voice that was put in the right place at the right time to avert that possible disaster. We don't know what would have happened, but anyway, it didn't.
Mm,
And you never know. Your words have power. And
they
then
do.
there you go.
That's why it's called spelling,
And
honey.
Edna, all I know is Steve changed my life for the better. Well, thank you, and
There
Edna.
you
And
go.
all you
Isn't that the
people
sweetest thing?
have changed mine for the better.
And it's so nice
I'd be
to
sitting here
to
talking to
open
mother.
up and ask the spirit guides to go, what do you want the chat to hear? What do you want me to put out there in the universe? And I know it sounds silly, but we always have like a base thing. Like tonight, it's haunts and hospitals, and we did it last night too. Heard some great stories. Lynn Monet got on here, talked about uh 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 a nurse that she worked with, a colleague, got stabbed in the leg with a needle that she had just put on the table and away from. Got stabbed in the leg with it in a haunted room. We talked about the balloon floating down and always coming into the nurse's station, going back behind a locked door and coming back out again. These things are so creepy. Steve has stories. I have stories, and I pulled up a couple here from that great show, Ghostly Encounters, and we're going to get to see two people telling their stuff. I also have a little surprise for y'all too, but something that happened to me in my house. But that's not just the show. The show is we're having a conversation. Everybody comes in on the porch, sits down, makes himself comfortable, and we're trying to learn another little piece of this puzzle. We don't know what it is. And at the same time, we're open up with this energy of let us know what you want to be said
Yeah.
during this. And
Steer
that's
the
the way we
conversation
roll.
a little bit, just don't take it over.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna get mad. But
No, no,
no,
no.
and that's, Soraya Ascath, a mutual friend of ours,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
reason
Yeah.
that we know each other. He hooked
Hmm.
us up together.
Hmm.
Just, "I've got somebody I think you'd wanna talk to." That first time we talked for like 8 hours.
At least.
But his analogy of that, or, some or, whatever you wanna call it, he said that the paranormal is like a big jigsaw puzzle, and you don't have the cover, which is the lid of the box, so you can't see what it's even supposed to look
Yeah.
like.
Hmm.
And
But
then
what you have,
and
yeah.
then you find out that some joker has mixed 5 or 6 puzzles into the same box. So
Yes.
you may have a piece that doesn't fit anywhere in this picture. It goes in another picture,
Yep.
and it's all these pictures are connected and intermingled, commingled. And that is the most
100%.
astute observation
Yep.
I've
And
ever
you're not even sure
heard.
what piece you're holding. So that's why
Or
we'll take
and it's printed
something.
on both sides. You can't tell
Yeah.
does it go up, does it go down, and
And go back and forth with it and go, Steve, what do you think it is, man? What is, from your vantage point, what, how do you look at it? I mean, we've sat here and unraveled stuff that had been, tangled in our heads for
yeah.
years
And
just by
likewise, I
rolling with
had a
it.
thing that happened recently. Somebody came to me with something that had happened to them. I knew instantly what it meant. I
Mhm.
explained it to her. Maybe it's this. And she's like, "You're exactly right. I didn't
Yep,
even
yep, yep.
think about that. How could I have missed that?" So sometimes that's why we're put in people's paths. We're that missing piece for their particular puzzle, or help them to say, take that piece, turn it around this way, flip it over, and it'll fit right in there.
Right in there.
Boom.
And match that piece you've been looking for. And that's why we go over these things. It's not just the stories, which are fantastic. I'll tell you what, I will never get sick and tired of a good ghost story ever. And I learned something from each
100%.
one,
Same.
from each Bigfoot sighting, from each this, and put little pieces. And it's not me sitting here saying, okay, I've been doing this for 50 years, so I know more than this person. I don't. I don't. I know when I shouldn't spend time on what they're talking about. Like for me right now, flat Earth
And
and and the globe.
let me
For
interrupt you
me,
here again.
go
Maybe
ahead.
that's
Sure.
what the paranormal is for, to
Yeah.
bring us together, to
Just to
get
talk
us to
about it.
talk to one
Work it
another
through.
and to find something in common that we can
Hmm.
bond over and discuss. And it
Hmm.
pulls us closer together as a
Hmm.
community.
Hmm.
And misfits of humanity that we are, you put us all together, we make
I
one
think we're
good person.
supposed to talk about it, and it's been so hard. Like when we first
Got
started out,
hairspray in my
you
eye.
you couldn't talk about it. Now we're here, and we had so much of it, and we got so bombarded. It was like this big
And now you've
message
got all these
data
people
dump,
that
and
don't
now we
know
got to
what they're talking
unravel it.
about it, that won't shut up. And that's even worse
Yeah,
than not enough
and then
information.
lying.
It's the wrong
I
information
can't
or made up
imagine
information.
having a thing like this and an outlet and just wasting it on, if you make it, that's fine. If you're making stuff up, that's fine, that's creative and wonderful, but don't sell it as
But
a truth,
label it as
because
that. This is a work of fiction.
we have
It can
young
be
people.
based in reality. It can be
Right.
based on a true incident, but don't tell this is a true
Right.
story if it's
Oh
not.
gosh, we have young people that could be in the light and have to work. Granted, you have to walk to be a light worker, you have to walk through the dark, or you don't know the difference and you're not strong enough to
That's
keep
right.
that light burning.
It's a light
You know,
worker because you
but
take that light
some of the
into the dark.
darkness, some
If
of these kids
there
don't
are
come
light
out of it.
workers that want to stay in the light the whole time, that ain't the way it works.
No, no. And some of these kids don't make it out of that.
You
If we
don't
could
dig a
give them a
well
chance and a good
on.
foundation first, then they got a better chance. And like I was saying with the flat earth and the globe, I see people arguing and putting their whole lives on, and I'm thinking, how does that change my square foot of real estate right now? Do I need to spend time on that? And that's the way I was talking about, like the buffet. This whole world is like a buffet of information. And we all have our plates and we all choose what's going to go on that plate, what's important to us,
Those
what we
Chinese
need as our
buffets, a little
base.
bit of
And
this, a
then
little bit
we
of
add our
that, give
stuff.
me some
Yeah.
of that, and then we consume it, and
I've only got room for so much
we're
shit.
fat and happy. Yep.
So now in the paranormal and the supernatural, I'm going to spend whatever time I got left, maybe it 20 years, 30 years, 3 years, who knows, and trying to put truth of the paranormal out there and taking simple stories and talking to somebody else that has the same amount of time in this as I do, and experiences and a vantage point and opinions and theories, and talk to you guys too, and put it out there, and maybe somebody looking for answers will find this, because it's a great thing to leave behind as far as information, but I look at it as very important. We screw around and laugh and have a good time, and of course we, have a good time with all of this,
Laughter really is the
but
best medicine. You want to
it
raise
is,
your vibration,
it is.
something bothering you, something
Yep,
vexing you, laugh at it. Throw back your
yep,
head and just ha ha ha
yep.
ha. Yeah,
That's why
that
everything in those intros are what you need to lift your vibration. Dance, music, art, be
sing.
creative,
I've been walking around the
all
house
of it.
singing, something I have
Singing,
never done. And
all of it.
I have
There's your
several
answer.
reasons for my happiness, but
Oh, you silly man.
what silly
You
man.
beast, you. No, no, no. Don't you get me started. So listen,
Hmm.
here we go. Are we going to talk about some haunted hospitals, my
We're going
friend?
to talk about some haunted
All right. I've
hospitals.
got it. I've got a vid. So the thing about all this is again, to close the thing is, a flat earth globe, it makes no difference to me. I'm not going to the moon. I'm not rich. I'm not going on taking any expeditions. Are you, Steve? I'm not
No,
going on a
well, I've got
satellite.
some trips planned, but I'm going to
I'm not
stay
going to the
close to
moon.
the, try not to get any
Fly
farther
me
than
to the
30,000 feet
moon and let
higher
me
if I can help it.
play among the stars. I'm not going. So I don't care. I got to concentrate on the stuff, you know, that means something to me, that's going to put out there and at least help somebody. But I'm learning too. I'm sorting all of this. I want to know, you know um is there another way that can make uh ghosts go, not get stuck here, is there a way that we can get people that are stuck in the in between out, you know is there a way that we can prevent ourselves being in that? I mean, everybody gets so cocky and think they got all the answers, but do we? So we're all trying to help everybody and each other, and put that wisdom out in the universe, and
When
hoping
you think you know
somebody
everything,
unique
then
that
you're
will
ready
see
to
it.
start learning. And if
Mm,
somebody tells you they're an expert on something that is unknown, turn around and walk the other way.
yeah. Yep. Like I said too, and many times on the show, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. Don't waste your time on that. Don't waste your energy on that. Keep your light burning, yeah, and move on. And don't let
Right on.
anybody tell you that
You know,
you can't
move it on down the line. What's
you
that
can't
song?
do a little side business, or if you want to be a blacksmith, or you want to refurbish that old car because you
Do it.
believe, or start a garden,
Do it. Start a
or
garden in the car.
or start canning stuff. You want to invite the kids in the neighborhood to learn how to do it, or to learn how to grow beans. For the love of God, put up a poster and get her done. Because if not us, who? And if not you, who?
Who
Who?
will? Yeah.
Yeah. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo, boo-hoo on all of you who don't think it's you.
Do
You know
something.
what I'm saying?
Write a book. If
You
I can
know,
do it, anybody can do it.
just, that's exactly, write it down.
They say if you
Recipes
can
even.
talk, you can read a book, but you don't even have to be able to talk.
I know for
If
close
you got
family
two
members that
fingers, you can
lost
write a book.
things that were in their home, in their family for decades, and people just didn't care anymore, and threw it out. You don't believe me? Go to Goodwill and see some of these stories, and you walk around there and you could feel the joy that somebody had to have that china and that matching set, and how proud they were to put it on their table and have
There's
served the
nothing
dinner. And now
sadder.
nobody gives a shit about
There's
nothing.
nothing sadder than an estate sale. I went to one
God
in
Almighty,
Oregon, and it was like a third party company running it. They're in this poor lady's house. She had passed
so
away.
cold, so
Everything in
cold.
there's got a tag on it. And you know that lady's spirit was grieving.
Jeez,
Here's a stranger sitting in her house, putting, all her fine china,
do it
all
ahead
her
of time, folks.
trinkets, all her doodads. Every single room in the house had stuff for sale, and it was just where the lady had left it. They put a tag on it.
Terrible,
If it didn't have a price, make an offer.
terrible,
And
and
it
it's been
just,
going on
it was.
forever.
I didn't buy anything.
Yeah,
I
it
couldn't.
go all around. It goes on around me. I
I
see it all
couldn't
the
buy
time
anything.
because I'm in a one of those senior over 55 communities with COVID and everything. I'm telling you, I've seen more than I need, and then I'm going in and doing funeral flowers all day. So
Hey,
trust
Danielle
it,
Diva, good to see
believe me,
you.
you don't have to tell me. But
Danielle is going to be on 13 past midnight, joining me soon, talking about
awesome.
some
Hello,
spooky things. She's a very
welcome in,
talented,
Pam
very
friend. Say
knowledgeable
hi.
lady. Probably going to talk about numbers, gematria, the
Dude,
golden
Gematria.
ratio, the Fibonacci sequence. God
Is
is
she the
in the
one to come up
numbers.
with Mama Gum Speaks Truth?
No, that was Catheta Cat Gray. She's not here today.
Awesome.
But we were playing with the gematria and we put Cisco Murdoch in there, and that was one of the phrases we got back was Mama Gum speaks the or talks truth.
I wish it had come up old buzzard.
And
I'm fine
but
with that.
that
I
kind of
have
reminds
buzzard
me,
medicine, by the
the
way.
two
So,
remind me of, if you've ever read The Stand, you remember Mother Abigail?
yep.
That's Cisco right there. Mayhaps
Mayhap
it
it
is,
is,
mayhaps
mayhap
it
it ain't. You know. All right, so here it is. That's the whole point, though. Just speaking the truth, and asking you guys what you think about it. Put your vantage point in, talking things through. But I'm not gonna. Again, I'm just trying to bring stuff out there and see
Shine
what
your
you think
light.
about it too.
Don't hide your light
Yep.
under a basket.
And I think these are so cool, these little bite-sized stories, and Lynn's stories last night, and different ones that we've all heard. And you wonder, is hospitals, do we automatically think they're more haunted because of the death in there, or like graveyards and mortuaries and things like that? Battlefields? Of course we do, automatically.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering if they really are, or if we're just looking for it more in places like that, because it's all around all the time, you know? And do you think it's more concentrated there because of the energy? You know? I mean, is it different flow? Like I was talking with Lynn that last night. Hospitals to me, Steve, let's see if you agree with this one. It almost feels like a river. If you've ever really, there was a neat place in Chattanooga Aquarium out in Tennessee. And when you went in there, when you walked down the steps, you were actually descending into the layers of what the river looked like. And you could see everything, all the different life and the depths of the water. And then it started getting into what lived under the water. And it was great. And the thing that you really looked at was the current. So you actually had water that was moving against itself in different layers and moving as a separate entity, even though it was the same thing. And that's what hospitals feel like to me, because I've got the energy of the people that work there. They're exhausted. They're working. They're caffeined out. They're sugared up. They're whatever, adrenaline pumping. There's people sick and dying, and the suffering, and that's a whole nother uh, uh, current that's ribbon of energy that's running in
There's
there.
an ebb and there's a flow. There's
The worry,
undercurrents.
the grief,
There's
the prayer.
little pools of
Oh,
calm, and then there's the rushing part. That's a very good
uh,
metaphor or analogy of the
and it's
energy
all
in a
the
hospital.
same, but it's different, like that river, the way it flowed. And I think in hospitals, it's like that. And I think it's more profound, almost a profound ribbon, thick ribbons and layering of that energy. You can feel it. Like it's a difference between in a hospital if you're sitting down or standing up. Think about it next time. When you're sitting down, you're in that layer of the people that are suffering and worried and hurt and
Yeah,
scared
because
and
that's the level
feared.
they are in those hospital beds.
Right. And when you stand up, you're in the energy of all that hospital
All
stuff.
the stuff going on, the people running up and down the
Yeah.
hallway, and the
And
codes, and the doctors, and the
intermingled is
nurses.
the
But
fear
you're still waist
and the
deep in the
and the
other stuff.
prayer. Yeah, and the
You're in
healing.
both of it at the same time.
It's crazy. And it really, when you think about it, it's almost like you're tuning into it, so it gets more profound. And it's different than, say, if you're at a Walmart, because at a Walmart you have all these distinctly different energies all mingling at the same time. It's just this chaotic energy. There's no ribbon flow. And that's the difference in going into like a diner, similar to a hospital, but on lower key. A busy diner, because you have the workers, you have the people talking all about their stuff and going through, so you have that lower energy. It's crazy, right, Steve?
Oh,
When you're an
absolutely.
empath, it's insane. But I think hospitals are a mixture. And I was thinking, and I put in the description too, about all the hospitals and the churches and the buildings and the basements and homes that were used during battles and skirmishes in the Civil War, all through Europe. I mean, the castles and everything. Is there any building in towns that pretty much didn't have somebody dead, dying, or sick, ill, convalescing in them? So this is just a bigger concentration, but you also have to add those things that used to be a hospital, used to be a nursing home, and now it's 4 apartments in a little
Yeah.
house.
Mhm.
And I think this is one that's similar. This was, I believe, in a college or something like that, or like a dorm setting. Now, the interesting thing about this, not only is it frightening as all hell, but and she speaks of it so calmly, but it also is a good representation, I believe, of that intent and meaning it. Like we talked about last time,
Intent is
Steve,
everything.
the guy from last week, Steve, maybe it was a week before, when we were talking about it, and we were convinced that it could have been any paranormal investigation group up to that point would have said demon.
Mhm.
We have faces coming out of the wall, curtains going on
Oh,
fire.
you had me going.
Yeah, I know, me too. And, it's trying to stab him. I mean, it went full tilt boogie, right? And
Yeah.
it's just this old man that was pissed and
It
confused.
just wanted attention any way he could get it.
It taught us,
And it
whoa,
worked. It worked. But boy, we
play out
learned
the tape.
something from that one. That was just the most amazing case.
Play out the tape, right? But
Mhm.
the way he stopped it was very same as this young lady tonight about, I got to a point where I had enough. And you see what I'm saying? And I want you to see how she went about it. And I think it's rather interesting. So, everybody, about 10 minutes. If Mulder needs you need to roll
Yeah,
Mulder a cigarette.
Mulder needs to go out. Yes, indeed.
Okay,
I've
honey.
got to go
But
return
just
my
listen along.
coffee to the earth via the toilet. I'm not going to
There
be
you
in the
go.
yard. It's not dark enough yet.
Don't bring back any ghosts. Bye.
But I'll listen on my phone. That's what I was doing. I shared it out on Facebook, and I like made sure we had likes and everything on there. So
Thanks, sweetie. And hit a like if
I'll be
if
right
you
back.
haven't hit the
Yeah,
like.
let's get
Here
those
we go.
likes up. We'll be right back.
Keep the closet door shut. It's spooky. Look out.
It was so kind of majestic looking to me. The buildings, I mean, were sturdy, but had this charm to them and this history about them. One of the stories that I heard was that at one point, the dorm houses had been used as an infirmary, many, many, many moons ago. But it kind of felt like that. The hallways were really long and narrow. And, on each side there was room, and they were very small. So really you could fit a single bed, a little desk, and, a window. And that was kind of creepy because, to think that you were sleeping in an infirmary room where there might have been soldiers who would most likely have perished.
Hospitals. Chances are if you go to one today, you'll walk out in good shape. But 100 years ago, you were just as likely to be carried out in a box. Hi, I'm Lawrence Chow. Today we meet Sarah and Debbie. Debbie was in a hospital when she was paid a visit by a surprising guest. Sarah got ghostly confirmation that her dormitory used to be an infirmary. As a schoolgirl in Boston, Sarah heard plenty of rumors about ghosts. People said her dorm was haunted. However, it wasn't the spirits of long-dead students who kept her awake at night.
School was very intense. We did our academics in the morning and our, whatever art that we chose in the afternoon and in the evenings. So we'd be in class from 7:30 in the morning, and I could be in rehearsals till 10 o'clock at night. So the need for sleep was imperative. It just was one of those things that you looked forward to as the day was coming to an end. You looked forward to your sleep. So one night, I went to sleep. And for some reason, no reason I can give you. My eyes sort of went bing, open, and I turned and I looked at my clock and it said 3 a.m. And when I turned, there was a man sort of leaning out of the closet, staring directly at me. I blinked to think, am I seeing things? But I kept blinking and he was still there. I could see his shoulders and his arms, and they were very broad and straight. And he had this sort of long face and long neck that literally went just up and around to the brim of a very wide, almost Quaker-looking hat. I was just terrified. I was just, frozen in bed, kind of looking and not knowing what to do because there was somebody in my room. So I, mustered up the courage to sort of move my hand over and pull on my light, and then looked again, and he was gone. And I was just so relieved at the time, but I was terrified. I mean, I suppose if I had blinked and he had gone away, I could have said, oh, it was my eyes playing tricks on me, or, something like that. But he didn't go away. He didn't go away till I turned on the light. And I remember staying up for most of the night with the light on, trying to sleep, but, obviously kind of looking over the covers and checking to see if I saw anything. So the next day, I got up, I was tired, obviously, and went to class and had another really, really long day, and came back and got into bed, turned off the light, and I was out. Again, for no particular reason, my eyes just opened at 3 o'clock in the morning. And this time, to my horror, the figure that I had seen peering out of the closet was now staring directly at me from the end of my bed. And when I looked over, I saw a second one standing just outside of the closet. My eyes pop open at 3 o'clock in the morning. And the man who had been by my closet was now staring directly at me from the end of my bed, like right there. And when I looked over, I saw a second one standing just outside of the closet. And I froze again. This one was kind of different. He didn't have a hat on, but he was the same tall, like long face, long figure. But again, these weren't necessarily the things I was thinking about at the time. I just knew that what I was seeing was for real. They were big, they were men, and they were scary. I jumped enough that I was able to again think, God, my light was right here, flicked on the light, and they were both gone. I do remember over those 2 nights losing a lot of sleep. The third night came along, and I was scared. I mean, I had seen what had happened the previous nights, and this was probably, even though there was some anticipation that I might see them, it was the most shocking night of all 3. And again, at 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up, and the man that had stood at the end of my bed was now directly beside me. When I looked up, he was looking right down at me. Literally, my arm was maybe 3 inches away from the figure. The guy who had come out of the closet was now at the end of my bed, And I glanced over and I could see a third one leaning out of the closet. He was just a little smaller of stature, and they were kind of looking over at me almost in a curious nature. I felt like I was being examined. I flicked on my light, and once again they were gone. And I remember sitting in my bed almost in tears. I was just so frustrated at that point.
Okay, she's frustrated. So let's unpack this for a minute. Number one, please tell me she has the Grateful Dead poster on the wall when this is going on, and that just wasn't part of the reenactment. It's just too good. Second of all, is it her? Does she have a light, and now because she's in college and she's stressing over studying and classes, and I don't know if it's first time from home, I don't know how young she was. Think about it. And that's, sending out, changing things, opening her third eye, sending more light out there. Who knows? Energy is a funny thing. It could be any one or any combination of things. Also, is like the closet a portal, or is this just a way, they're using to get to her? Have they always been there? Did she bring them with her? These are all the questions that pop up at the top of my head, first and foremost in this. I don't know if any of it comes to your mind. What do you think, Steve?
We're all energy. That's
all
what
the
it
above.
Comes down to.
It could be all of the above. It could be all of the above.
I was listening while I was out
It's
there with
her.
him.
It could be her energy sparked it. It could be that closet's a portal.
It's a commingling of the energies.
You see what I'm saying?
We're all connected.
But this, she's got one come in one night, and it's the 3 a.m. thing. That actually happened to me. And, I'm not making spoof this or nothing, but I remember waking up, looking at it. It was 3:15, and I laughed and said, "Nice try. That clock's 20 minutes fast." And I rolled over, went back to sleep. Actually, just swear to God, this happened. And, I don't recommend that. I mean, I'm not a financial advisor, so please, don't take, I'm not a medical.
Your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
You're
There
that fourth doctor that doesn't like
whatsoever
anything.
with me.
3 out of 4 doctors.
This is just free advice, and you get what you pay for.
Don't like shit.
There it is. So, but in my humble opinion, I think there's a combination going on here. It could very well be that everybody that slept in that room saw this, and maybe they come every once in a while and didn't recognize her, and that's why they're looking. Who's this? Hey, can you help us? Can you see us? Can you help us?
They can see your light. They can see your light.
Yeah. 9 times out of 10, I know it sounds crazy, but in my experience, 9 times out of 10, that's exactly what this is they're like, can you see us? Can you cross us over? Or we're passing through. There's homes that have hallways. It's so weird that are right in the middle of this. It seems like they're all walking somewhere because they're right in this pathway. If they're going in and out of portals, where are they going? Where are they headed to? Where are you coming from? Where are you headed to? Because they always say these portals. Do you remember the scene in Poltergeist? I love it. It's the best. Well, there's so many good scenes in Poltergeist, but this is the one where the Tangina, the little, the little medium, and the family, and everybody's at the base of the stairwell. Cameras rolling. The whole university paranormal department's down there, and they've got the camera at the stairs, and all of a sudden there's a sparkling and then a mist and a movement, and it's like this large group of like a mist coming down the stairs, and within the mist is people and just shadows and in and out outlines of these souls, as they were people in this mist. It's an incredible shot. If you haven't seen it, the movie's worth watching. Just that.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's an amazing. And the camera guy, one of the university guys, turns to the camera guy and says, "Do you see them?" And the guy's like, Like, you know, it's an amazing paranormal experience. But
Uh-huh.
but this is how they always portray portals to me in this type of situation, like this young lady's going through. If that's a portal and they're just walking through, and they may be looking at her like, who are you? Can you help us? Or maybe, you know, they don't even want help, but it's interesting situation. That's, you know, each night there's one more, like they go
Mhm.
get a friend and bring him.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You
Can
know,
see if you can talk to him.
it's like a
Like me getting passed around on the phone at the cookie place. Can you help this guy? I cannot understand
Can
him.
somebody who can speak Southern?
I need a translator.
Deep South, deeper, deeper, deeper. I can't understand hardly a word this man says. Oh, that's good, Steve.
It's
That's
like I
gold
used to
right
work
there,
with these
baby.
two guys when I worked for Disney. I was
Oh
a
my
live
God.
show production manager.
Whew.
I worked with these two guys from India, and they both spoke English. But the one guy, I couldn't understand his English. I had to ask the other guy
What do
to
you say?
translate what he was saying,
What do you
even though it
say?
was both English.
God,
Because of the accent. The other guy had this really thick Indian accent,
if
and I couldn't.
I totally
I
get it. I
tried.
totally get it. I love some British shows and things like that. But I'll tell you what, I'll get into some of them, and I have to put the caption on there because I'm like, excuse me,
Oh,
what do you say?
you need to come over on
What do you say?
First Floor Audio. I'll be there over there tomorrow night. Lee's doing some stuff for me, but he's got a guy named Stephen, the Charinator.
Can't understand a
He's in
damn
a
thing he says.
wheelchair. He is Scottish, and the more excited he gets, the higher pitch his voice gets, and it's
Yeah,
and
that's
but
good
Lee can
radio.
understand him. He's in the UK. He can understand him,
That's good
but
radio.
yeah, and then for tonight, Stick Stockman is your spirit animal. They got me so flustered. I misspelled my own name. Stockman.
You can't let him get to you, Steve. You can't
Stockton, like Stockton, California.
let him
I
get to
know
you.
understand. I know understand.
You got it. I have
So
years of experience as a bartender and a customer service manager. I can go all day. It's like, really, ma'am, can you explain that to me again? What color was it? You know, I actually looked at this pair of old ladies once. I swear to God, I had had enough, but I was just so sweet about it. And I just said, ma'am, let's read the coupon together, shall we? Because if I didn't stay that sweet, I was going to kill her. I was going to kill her. This is what I'm saying. We all have the monster. It's
There's nothing worse
how
than a
tight
person
is
with
your
an
chain?
expired coupon or a
I'm not
coupon
ki-
that doesn't apply to their purchase. I've been
How
there.
tight is your chain? I'll tell you what, mine's been pulling for about 30, 35 years now. It's like, you know, it's just like, okay, I'm good. I'm good. All right, here we go.
Pam Smith, I did. Somebody else had sent that to me previously. I did see that Dennis Martin video.
Let's see
but
what else
thank
happens.
you.
Let's see. I'm sorry, guys. We got there went that train. All right, we're pulling back into the station. Let's see what else happens. Let's see what she does about it, shall we? Here we go.
That, you know, what, it was a whole party of people gonna come in? You know, when was this ever gonna end? The next day, I decided to reposition my bed in so much that they couldn't sneak out of that closet anymore. I put my bed right in front of the closet. So if they were gonna mess with me, you know, I was gonna see them coming. And I was ticked at this point. So I remember looking directly into the closet before I went to bed and saying, that's it. This cannot happen anymore. You cannot come back. You cannot interrupt my sleep. Just go and don't come back. And, you know, very defiantly, I, you know, laid back down on my bed and I turned off my lights and much to my surprise, they never came back. I think they came in because they were running through something that they had done in their lifetime. So to me, it seemed more like a ritual, and there was some curiosity to it. And I only say that because each of them started by peeking out of the closet. You know, maybe I was the patient. That's how I felt, like I was being the one looked over. Like maybe I was the representation of somebody, some soldier or something that had passed, and they were giving me my last rites. It wasn't very fun for me because the fear was pretty intense, and these were big men in my room, and I was 17 years old. You know, it's one of those things that, you know, makes you afraid of the dark for a long time. makes you afraid to turn off your light for a very, very long
I
time.
should say so.
Sarah says her visitors had no face, no features. She's not alone in her description. Our experts tell us many people report seeing ghosts without distinct facial features, or seeing only parts of an apparition. The ghost's legs may fade away, or the entire body may look transparent. Though the bodies of Sarah's ghosts may not be complete, they certainly were well dressed. Sarah reports seeing her ghosts 3 nights in a row at 3 a.m. Some people call that the witching hour. Others call it the twilight zone. But whatever you call it, Sarah was dead asleep every time she was awakened.
I see what he did there.
Yeah, I caught that. Dead asleep.
He's clever. He's clever. Yeah.
He's wicked smart.
Isn't that pretty? Look at Crispy's all done up in the spooky woods there. Look at that. Look at that. Ain't it cute, guys?
We want some crispy
He's
merch.
the hardest working ghost in the paranormal.
He is, and
that's
got the
saying
nicest
something.
wardrobe too. He's got all kind of hats and monocles.
He does. He
But
does.
if you want some crispy merchandise, throw some bacon in the chat. We'll take a poem.
T-Public, or
You've already got crispy merchandise, don't you?
Yep, you can buy him some bacon.
I've got's a mug.
I'm going to put T-shirts up there. Hopefully, they'll be up there next week. Throw a little spring at you. I'm going to put up. I saw a guy with a T. I can't take credit for this, but I saw a guy at the Walgreens. I think it was the Walgreens. I've been in the Walgreens, so it couldn't have been a Walgreens. Where the hell did I see him, Steve? I don't know. I try to ignore, you know what I'm saying? I just gray man it wherever I'm going, just like stay out of it. So I'm not the droid you're looking for.
Yeah,
do not engage. Do not engage. I am not fit for company. Just do not engage. Or, how you doing? Have a nice day. Fine. That's good. Now move on. That's all do you remember the book? When it was a dear little rabbit in a raincoat with an umbrella at his arm up like this, and he said, "Oh shit, not this asshole again." You know what I mean? It's like, come on now, you've all bumped into somebody in the store and went and turned and did a hard left or a quick right, try to get away because you knew if you stopped at the bread, you're going to be there another 25-30 minutes, right? So you go to, and sometimes you don't even get what you went in there to get. Don't lie to me. You've done it. I do the.
I went in Walgreens the other day to get one thing, and I came carrying an armload of stuff up to the counter, and I said I should have got a basket. And the girl said, "You came in here after one thing."
Now you gotta have a bag.
I congratulated her on her skills there of
now you got to have your own bag too. I see all kind of people juggling stuff through the parking lot, and I have all these extra bags, and I want to be the good Samaritan and go, "Would you like a bag?" Sometimes I've asked people because, like I said, I'll do something nice. I just want to do something nice and get the hell out of there. I don't want to have a conversation with you about, "Oh, don't I know you?" No, I don't have time for that. I got stuff to do. I'm always like bzz, 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 so it's like speed bumps. That's just and then I just pass out. But anyway, there's a lot of people that are like that. You get on track because just like this show where you can see it, I'll get off track quick, go around and just help bend for leather. Just like I'm on the Autobahn in Germany, just 120 miles an hour. And then I realized I'm, 22 exits out of the way past where I should have got off. Oh my God, it's so funny. That's life. Enjoy the journey. Why fight it? Right, Steve?
Absolutely. Well, it's my dad told me that years ago that if you fall in the river and you can't get out, you can swim against it or you can swim with it.
Yep. Sometimes
but either way, you're going to end up in the same place. The only difference is how tired you'll be when you get there. Sometimes you just got to go with that.
Sometimes you just got to doggy paddle to, or fake it till you make it, whatever. But I'll tell you what,
get out when you can.
One of the things in this story that caught my eye when I first saw it was she says she puts the bed in front of the door, the closet door. You can't come in here anymore. That's it. I've had enough, So what was it that stopped it? It certainly wasn't the door or was it?
Oh, it could have been.
because
It was
ghosts,
the intent placed
there's that
in the door.
question.
There you
Why do
go.
some ghosts knock on the door? Why do some ghosts try to get the doorknob and just be,
Yeah.
rattling for all it's worth?
And I've
And
got a
some just
question
walk right
for
through
you.
like it's not there.
Let me ask you, and then I'll also pose this
Sure.
to the chat at the same time. I was thinking about some traditional ghost story stuff that I heard when I was a kid, some of the older ghost stories that you don't hear anymore. A lot of times when ghosts appeared to people, even here in this country, they would appear in chains. They would rattle their chains.
Yeah, some did.
What did that represent?
To me, it's like the Marley thing. I always go
Yeah.
back to Dickens.
They
And
and I thought,
like the
as soon as I had
sins and
that
the low
thought,
vibration.
I answered my
Yeah.
own question. They are bound. They are
Yep.
bound by
Yep.
those chains.
Yep.
And
Bound.
that's their graphic representation of it. That's their lot, is to
Mhm.
carry those chains.
Yep. And
They're
we
not
built it
really
one
in
link at a
chains.
time.
Yeah.
One link at a time.
Those are
That's
chains,
us. And
chains of sorrow,
that's a
chains of
beautiful.
regret, chains of things that you did that you shouldn't have
Yep.
done when you knew better.
And we've
You
just
you
changed
built
it.
that chain when you were here, and now you're carrying it around with you,
Right.
probably getting rid of it a link at a time.
Yeah. And that's hey, that's it. That's what we're trying to do in this show, and
that's what
what you
Dixon
guys
Dose
probably
says right
trying to do
there.
too. Yeah.
Dickens' story, they
Before the
forged the chains themselves. There you go.
Absolutely.
And
And
that's
and
profound.
everything. And that's Dickens had it right in that. And the way he thought of it. And keep in mind, Dickens, coming from the vantage point of a young boy who saw his family go to debtor's prison, he was sent to the tar and
A tar
what do you call
factory.
blacking? It's called a blacking mine or a blacking something factory.
Yeah.
And he had to put these labels and do all this other stuff in the shoes and all that. Horrible for a kid of his age. For penance,
Child
just
labor was a
pittance
thing.
to try to pay off debt.
12-hour shifts without a break.
He saw it all.
In
This is why
less than desirable conditions.
Yeah, and this is why he came up as an advocate, as a spokesperson, a whistleblower, as you could say. Absolutely. He spilled the beans on the prison system, on the royalty, on the nobility, if you want to call them that. The orphanages, war, the poor and the destitute and the prostitute and the oh my gosh, all of it. I mean, he was an amazing advocate for all of that.
And he touched something within just about everybody.
Yeah.
When he published those books, a lot of times they were published in little chapbooks.
Yeah.
And people would line up for the next installment of whatever story he was writing.
Yeah, that's how Carol and Pickwick Papers and all those came out, and different ones like
Just
that.
a little piece at a time.
Serial novels. That's where they get the whole idea for soap operas and things now, and the early radio programs and all of that. All of that began in stories in newspapers and short little bursts, all the way back to Ben Franklin, and continued through. All of the
broadside. Sometimes it'd just be a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
Not even a booklet or a pamphlet.
Right.
A broadside. It was like a poster.
Yeah. And before that on sheepskin and parchment.
And even here in America, Dickens was popular. They would wait on the ship to come into the harbor that was carrying the latest pamphlets of the next installment of that story.
I didn't catch myself on fire. That's absolutely true. Serial novels, and Stephen King paid homage to that.
Yeah,
with,
he brought that back with the
Green Mile.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
that's
an excellent
why
way to do that.
When Steve and I did The Cabin the first time,
we did it in
started out as a
chapter
short
at a time.
story, chapter at a time, and that was like an homage to that whole shebang there.
And it really wasn't Steve; it was you.
We got deep hearts, man. We do.
You channeled that book. That was.
Oh yeah.
And doing the voices and everything, you were pulling that from the ether. That was just coming out of here.
I'll tell you,
out
man,
of here.
I was with Jacob in that damn cave when that girl was trying to suck his soul out of his body. I could see her face.
Those
what I mean?
I think that's based on real spirits, real events, and they chose you to tell their story. You were the channel, you were the vessel, you were the gravy boat for that story.
And that dog, the gravy boat, and Rage and everybody else. I mean, some of it I could see get pieces of where it may have came from, but most of them just materialized as is. What you see is what you got.
Those ghosts on the playground, the evil little girl ghost that tried to lure that boy, lure that boy into the cave.
Coralie. Yeah.
The paranormal investigators. You had everything in there, including the kitchen sink, and there was an activity in that too. If you haven't heard it, it's here on this channel. What is it, about 14 hours long or something? Is
Yeah,
one of the
a
most
little over
incredible
14 hours. It's an audiobook.
audiobooks you'll ever hear. And there is a script in progress for that. I'd
Yes,
like to
yes.
shop it around, see if we can't get that made into a movie.
A mini
And
series
then
would
I
be great.
think Gage and what was the guy's name?
Rage and Dave.
Rage and Dave. I always
Rage the
mix that up.
dog.
They need their own series. They need
Oh
further
gosh.
adventures.
They could
They've
go
been
on.
sitting there looking at their watch, and Dave's going, "Oh, I don't know, Rage, where's she at?" And Rage says, "Woof." And they're
Yeah.
waiting for you to come back
Right.
and see where you're
Dave.
going to take them this time. Gage,
Yeah.
Pet
Yeah.
Cemetery. I got that
Yeah. Oh
whipped
man,
around
that
in
was
my
one
head.
too. Yeah, it's fun. To tell you, it did come from, I hear people talking about, because there's some famous cases and some famous stories about, people coming back through other people and channeling their next
Good
book,
stuff.
their next novel, their next big movie, something. There's all kinds of stories like that. I'm telling you, it happened to me
It
because
did.
I literally would be writing pages. I would write it. It would come out of nowhere. I would
And
do
you'd
the
have to
voices.
go back and reread it to
Then
even know what you wrote.
Yeah. And then first take, I would go out there and I would just record it and I would send it to Steve and then he would play it on his channel, and it was like, it turned out to be like 6 chapters, long chapter, 14 hours narrated. It's a good story.
I believe
It's a
it was
good
more
story.
than 6. It was a
Yeah.
bunch, but it's
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah, it was a trip.
And every single
And it's
one
all free. You can listen to it.
carries the
Got
story, the
everything.
cliffhanger, but it is one of the best audiobooks you'll ever hear.
Dogman.
Entirely voiced by Cisco.
Ghost.
She did all the voices. You channeled those voices.
I did.
There's times when you're talking like a little kid, or you're
Sweet.
talking like an old man, or you're talking like a drunk hillbilly.
Yep.
And it just worked.
Sounds like
Lon Chaney's the
Maybe a
man of
drunk
1,000
hillbilly.
faces. You're the woman of 1,000 voices.
Oh man, it was fun, man. Thank you so much for those kind words. But I mean, it was fun. I'm gonna do another one. The thing is like Tater and everybody, they literally came to
Tater
life.
needs the book too, and
Yeah,
Tater,
yeah.
he was the
They
underdog.
wrote it.
He was the anti-hero, and it just you got to listen to it if you want.
And
Tater's
how he
story.
his character, how he bloomed, everybody had a light. Everybody in there that was working for that good and did not realize they were all coming together to do that. And I think that's what's happening now. And don't think that I wasn't thinking of that when I wrote this.
Did you remember some of the stuff we had to search for?
I wrote it before it happened.
We had to have a golf cart that was gas powered and made within a certain year span. And by golly, if we didn't found one. And what you hear is actually a sound made by that exact golf cart. Gas-powered golf cart that she describes in the story there.
When you hear a lighter, you see a Zippo, it's a Zippo you're listening to. You're listening. I could tell the difference. Who couldn't? That's had a Zippo.
That clink, there's nothing that sounds like a Zippo.
And there's a difference between...
Even a knockoff of a Zippo doesn't sound like a Zippo.
If you can imagine, first of all, you've got to go find the sound that you're looking for. It's in your head. I'm standing in my kitchen, true story, with my son. And I have great, people. So I can go up to him and I can say stuff. I don't have to explain myself when I say, okay, there's a big thing getting its back broken. I need the exact sound. I've got it narrowed down to these 26. Listen to it with me. Okay. And, they just do it. You know what I'm saying? And we're going through these sounds. Crack, bang, shoot, crack. You're going through it. And each sound when you close your eyes, if you think about it, you see what it sounds like to you. Celery breaking sounds different than a stick. A stick sounds different than, a board over something,
And some of those Foley artists, if you want to watch something amazing, go back and look at those early Foley artists before everything was digital.
Incredible.
Back in the old days of radio. They did the sound effects and in the movies.
And the storms.
There's a guy there.
Somebody's
walking in the leaves. There's a guy with a bowl of potato chips there, mashing his hands down at him.
Yeah.
They called on the radio. Called for thunder. They had a big piece of tin that they wobbled. Then there's one. It's a blooper. It was a live radio show, and the guy pulled out his gun and he was going to shoot the criminals.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Take that." The sound guy didn't hear it or missed his cue. Take that. Bang. And he says, "Well, I'll stab you with this knife then." And then you hear pow, pow.
That's good stuff, man. but it
But
does.
the
It
joys
takes
of
time.
doing anything live,
I can't
I've been
tell
there. I
you
know what that's like.
how many times I listened to doors slam on a car, and you're looking
And
through all these things where you can get
you can hear
sounds,
it.
and
You can tell a Toyota
you're
Corolla
recording yourself,
from a
those crows.
71 Impala. Well, boom, down that
Yeah.
door shut.
Oh, you can hear, and you want it to sound a certain way, and and you only do a few of it all through it. It's not constant. It's just every once in a while you'll get that, and you'll get like um Jeb's Chevy. That's a
That's a
Chevy
real
truck.
Chevy.
That's a Chevy truck you're listening to, going through the gears,
The-
going down that dirt
the
road.
Rat. Did the Rat
All
have
of
a
it.
name? I haven't listened to this in a year.
Big
so.
old buck. The
Old
big
buck.
old buck that grabbed the ear.
That was the sound of a real rat that you
Yeah.
heard in there.
All
They
of
were
it.
listening to the Grand Ole Opry
big-
on the radio.
On the radio, you
Cisco
heard the Grand
went and
Ole Opry.
found an actual broadcast of the
Minnie
Grand
Pearl.
Ole Opry from that period
Mhm.
and put it
You're
in there.
there. It's like you are
It is
there.
truly theater of the mind. It's an audio book and so much more. It's
Yep.
an experience.
It is.
It's an immersive listening
Listen with
experience.
headphones.
It's here on this channel. Listen through good headphones. And
The weirdest voice to do was the Beast. When I did the Beast thinking as the Beast would think, and speaking the way he spoke, and how he would sound if he spoke English in his mind. It was the weirdest I've ever done. I mean, it was so weird. And I've got some great equipment, man. And I'm turning this, and I'm adding this, and radio, and noise, and this, and reverb, and wah wah, and
I'm
echo.
telling you, Cisco worked like a maggot on that for months.
Oh my god, it was crazy. And
you ever seen a maggot? They're just like, that's the way she was.
like a hamster on a wheel, man.
There you go.
The
visual.
When you hear the Beast, it chills you to the bone, because it's thinking as and speaking as what would mean the most to him. How the others in the pack see him is the most important thing. He doesn't want to lose his position as head of the pack. He has to show that he's still the champion. He's still the leader.
He's the alpha rat, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, he's going through this psychotic.
And he's got those battle scars.
Yeah, and he's going through this psychotic
and he
thing.
And the guy they have, it's a
they
have a love-hate relationship. Each one needs the other, but they can't stand one another and want to do away with one another.
It's nuts. And I mean, it's all about him.
And there's so many different
deciding
story arcs. There's the whole
Yeah.
story, and then there's all these little stories that are woven.
Yep.
And it's a masterpiece. I don't care what anybody
That's
says.
sweet. That's sweet. And again, I don't take credit for writing it.
And
I
those
was
cabins
here by myself, but
those cabins actually exist. That was the
Yeah.
cool thing. That was somewhere that you vacationed as a kid.
then children's playground exists. It's right there. And I moved them closer together for the story's sake, but they're right there in the
Glenn,
same
that
town.
probably was a poor choice of metaphor. But if you've ever seen anything with maggots in it, they're just all over the place. They're
Thank you.
She was
Thank you, Glenn.
working
That's
like
sweet.
a beehive.
I know I can't say much, but I actually know.
I didn't mean it as an insult.
I know somebody with that
Cisco
name
knew what I meant.
that does almost like what I meant, but never mind. I'm not talking about it. So, so anyway, yeah, it's pretty crazy. And, when I look at it like that and see like when I look at the situation with the Beast and how he would look at his pack and what he would be worried about, he's worried about food, shelter, and how, he doesn't want to get eaten by his own pack. So he's got to keep up the whole, leader thing. And at the same time, he's brought his pack up against into this not neighborhood, but into this territory that's new, because they've been pushed out of their territory by a horrible storm, which in this story, I kind of allude to Katrina, because when I was in Alabama, it was like a wildfire. Imagine a forest and a wildfire. That's what it was like with people coming out of New Orleans through Alabama and pretty much stopping in northern Alabama with their animals and their pets, and nature moved that way, and it was just a whole migration. And I wondered at one time, it's not just the sweet animals and the sweet things we want to migrate. Everything comes. You know what I mean? And within that group of nature and humans, there's some evil walking among them. and what would happen if they had to fight for new territory with territory
Mhm.
that was already copacetic, and how would that upset the balance of that? All of that's in that story. I hope you listen to it if you haven't. It's
Go
a good
listen
story.
to it. Put it on. I think you've got a separate playlist, don't you? They can just
Yep, it's
pop that
there.
in and
It's
they go
got
from
video
episode to episode
accompaniment.
to
It's all
episode.
in order. It's a whole playlist right here on the
There's
channel if you haven't
music,
heard it.
there's
You
story,
can listen in your
you'll
car.
laugh, you'll cry, you'll cake your pants. There's some
Yeah, you
scary
do.
parts in there
There's
too.
some scary, real stuff in there, and most of the stuff in there actually happened, but I can't tell you to who and by what. But you get to pick which ones. I won't tell. So there you go. So with that one, I think with the young lady, it wasn't the fact she shut the door, put the bed in front of the door. I think it was because she was adamant and she made a
It was
wall
the
of
intent. That
intent.
door was
Yeah,
symbolic. The door
right.
ain't going to stop a ghost. But
No,
if you put something in that, if
I
you
don't think
imbue
so.
that door with that energy, that this is impassable, you can't come through here. It's that intent,
Yep.
and that's
There
how
you
it
go.
works. And it's probably a wooden door. There you go. Wood absorbs energy. Wood was a living thing, and it picks up those things. It absorbs those things. That's how you have witness trees, and
Oh yeah.
the
Oh
druids that
gosh, yeah.
worship tree spirits.
To
And you
lay your
have
hands on
people
a
like
witness
Susan
tree.
Woodcarver who
Oh,
can
look at that. Oh
take a
my
piece of
gosh, that's
wood,
gorgeous.
and it told
Susan.
her how to carve it. That was the
Wow.
spirit that was in this piece of wood, and
Wow.
it told her how to make it. And then
Incredible,
she
man.
even, I'm going to cover the name back because it's got a real name on there, but it's got a rune of protection on there for me.
Oh, wow.
But it
That's
spoke to
beautiful
her,
work. See, this
and
is
you
what I
just,
mean.
and holding that, you could
Creativity.
just feel the
Oh,
energy.
geez.
This was a piece of
Wow.
dead wood,
I'll start
but
pulling
that
my stuff
spirit
down.
was still in here. She's a master carver, a master artisan of her craft, and it's got little crystals and moss and things on here. Look at the top of that. She put some
Beautiful.
hours in this thing, but it told her, and she said, just kind of jokingly, the secret to carving it is to carve away everything that doesn't look like a wood spirit. But again, it told her, no, make my beard longer, make my eyes beadier. There you go, peace pipe.
Look at that.
But
Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. See how
look
good.
at that work on there. Somebody put some hours in that.
Look at that.
That tying, and that looks like real deer sinew that it's tied with too.
Yep. Yep. Yep, it is.
Amazing.
And that's the power. This is like the best part, because this is like an extra similar to a medicine bag. This isn't to carry like tobacco in and stuff like that. That's very similar to medicine bag where you put gemstones and things in it that.
And when you get that put together, you leave that tied shut and you carry it with you. You don't take it out until it's done its job.
All hand done. And
Kathita thought it was a stick. She said, Mama Gum's got a big stick, but that's a peace pipe.
Oh, honey, I got a stick.
And the way that works, if you smoke the peace pipe and it still doesn't bring priest, then you use it on their head.
See, I'm trying not to start a fire here, but I just love that. But I got so many things all around me. It's like crazy, but yeah. Old Buzzard, right? But yeah, that's what I was going to say too, is I don't mind old Buzzard because I buzzard medicine. And the thing is people, again, labels and things, they say, oh, Buzzard, and usually when people said it, they meant it to be mean, or at least, negative in some way. But that's what buzzards do. That's what corvid, that's what they do. They take negative and turn it to a positive because they eat all the trash and all the garbage. Else. And honestly, so does maggots.
And I've heard things that people say you have buzzard luck, but buzzard has patience. You watch them; they know when something's going to die. They're already up there circling. They're waiting.
Yeah,
they're
I happened to work the other day. I looked.
They're riding those drafts, and they get a little lower, and a little lower, and a little lower, and then they're there when it's feeding time. Buzzards are smart.
That's like used to be in all the old cowboy movies, right, Steve? It's like, boy, when they saw
I'd look up when he saw the buzzards. Yeah,
they know the guy with the broken leg was going to go, and you're like, oh my God, that's awful.
And if the buzzards didn't get you the quicksand wood, by God, you better look out.
Oh God, that quicksand! Stop
I'm
it!
still
scared
me. They have it out here where I live. I want to go see some, but I ain't going to get too close.
No, don't get too close.
If you watch TV in the 60s and 70s.
Take a buddy.
Quicksand was responsible for more deaths than anybody. Daniel Boone got in it. His son Israel got. Mingo got in the quicksand one time. They had to get him out.
Frankenstein. Didn't Frankenstein go through? They wound up in the ice somehow
Yeah.
with the Wolfman.
Yeah.
I don't know. They were into all kinds of stuff.
They were
Those
just kind
people,
of throwing stuff at the
they were
wall
just
at that point,
always
but
into everything.
we
Frankenstein, the
watched it and
Wolfman,
loved every minute of it.
every damn minute. So I found this cute little girl. She probably hate me for saying that, but there you go. I'm an old buzzard. So she's doing this little newscast in her local city, and I don't even know the city. It doesn't matter, but she's going to say it. And I'll say it wrong. Let her speak for herself. So it was just a really cute little thing that they went out and did in the hospital, but it's giving you some real people again with real stories. I've got some other little stories and another little clip for you, but I thought this was good, so I brought it on. It's like 2-3 minutes. Ooh, that's pretty. That red and black is so effective, I think.
Spooky. It is.
It's
And then
just,
the white on
it's
top
effective.
of it. Boom.
It's effective, I believe.
If
It's
you
just
notice
simple.
on my thumbnails on 13, I use a lot of red and white. Same on my Among the Missing, my logo's red, white, and black.
I'm all about some font.
The light, the dark, and the blood.
I'm all about
there's
some
power.
font.
There's power in the light, there's power in the dark, and there's power in the blood.
Yep.
There you go.
I'm all about that. I'm all about some old black and white film footage. I'm all about it. Yep, there it is again. Absolutely effective.
That's what it says on the tin.
Tacoma is
There she
rumored
is.
to be haunted.
Little Megan.
And inside these walls lurks a nurse named Mabel from the 1920s. And if you're lucky enough, you'll have a chance to meet her.
She does a good job, Steve.
I'm a believer now, I'll tell you that. I never was before.
Julie Showers was working alone in the building 7 years ago, filling vending machines on the graveyard shift.
All of a sudden I look over and there's someone standing there in a nurse's outfit and she's holding a candle, and I said, "Hi, how are you?" And she just looks at me like that and turns away, and I just said, "God, that was rude." And I waited about 5 seconds. I walked after her and gone.
Down in the basement of the old 1950s hospital is the original morgue. Rumors about Mabel the ghost grabbed the attention of Ross Allison. He's been a paranormal investigator for 20 years.
Right when we got in this room, we definitely got a huge spike, and it was pretty steady for a bit, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. Many people have seen her wandering the hallways. She's been known to appear in the elevators, and most times when people do see her, they don't even realize that they've ran into a ghost. She seems to be a full, solid apparition, so it would actually look like a living person until you actually end your conversation or just turn away for a second, you look back, she's completely gone.
Showers believes there is no mistaking what she saw after a coworker showed her some staff photographs from the 1920s.
Well, she just stuck out like a sore thumb. I said, "Right there." And he just says, "Ah, you saw Mabel." You start putting everything together. This couldn't have happened.
Sightings of Mabel have been reported at all times of the day and night, and throughout both buildings on the property.
There's no such thing as a ghost meter. And so what we do is we basically try to read the environment and determine if there's any changes in the environment. Any
Tell them
changes
Large Marge sent you.
That might give us an idea that there could be something paranormal going on.
I've been down in the morgue by myself, and down in the basement alone with like one light on, very dim, and it's just, you would have to be here when it's dark. I wasn't really afraid to come back. You're afraid but you're not. It's that curiosity. Then I was hoping to see her again.
Inside the haunted hospital, Megan Hutton reporting, Pierce County News.
She did a good job. Megan did. Yep. She's bouncy, trouncy.
Love it.
She did a good job. Oh, look at the spider, Steve.
And I haven't even told a hospital story yet.
That's
We're
a good shot.
2 hours in. That's
That's a
amazing
lovely shot right
with
there.
a candle. Looks like the candle's illuminating the spider and the web.
That spider's more effective live than I thought it was going to be. I'd rather enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's nice. Oh, what's happening?
What's this?
What is what's going? Oh, it swallowed saliva. There we go.
Shouldn't have ate that last sugar cube.
There we go. You never know what you're going to see here on Journey Through the Gate. Well, I thought she did a lovely little job. It's a cute little story about a hospital there. And I'll tell you, there's tons of them. So, the thing is again, Steve and I aren't sitting here saying our hospital's haunted. We know they're haunted.
You know they are. They're haunted with the living as well as
and
the
not
dead.
trying to prove a thing. It's like you believe, you don't believe. Some people
Believe or
don't.
you don't. I don't care. I know what I know, and I know what
And
I've felt. I know what I've
when they
seen.
become, when it happens to them, or or not, maybe it's in their journey they're not supposed to. Maybe there's something to do with the balance of things, or something way above my head. I don't know, where some people just are supposed to know and some aren't. They're supposed to do other things. So I'm not trying to make people that disbelieve, and I don't want to argue with people that, I have people that I respect what they say, but I don't want to sit down and have a conversation with them, especially live, because there are things that they've said, even though I respect their time in this, and I respect their opinion, and I respect their point of view and their theories. However, they don't fit, they don't make logical sense to me, you know, and I don't want to bring them on here. And I don't want to have a debate with somebody. That's not my intent on the show. My intent on the show is going here. This is a real event. What do you guys think? Have you ever had something like this happen to you? What do you think it is at this point in time in your consciousness? You know what I mean? Because if we know that the paranormal, a ghost, you can take a picture and a ghost could be in a picture, and Steve and I can look at that picture and see it. Even if I don't tell Steve what it is, he's going to describe the same thing I'm seeing, possibly. And then we show it to somebody, and when we go to show it to somebody, it's not there anymore. So with something has the ability of that, how much do you think you're going to be able to
And it can
figure out?
affect things after. That's like some of these EVPs, like some of the ones Michael Laciana has. They get clearer over time, and it's not just you listening to
I
it,
wonder if it's the energy.
because there's people like playing them in videos, and you hear it when they play it, and
Crazy.
then you hear it when they play it later. That voice has changed. It's
So many
gotten
different,
more
yeah.
distinctive. And
Yeah.
again, it's not just you listening to it, because if you
Yeah.
compare the first time they played it on that tape,
Yeah.
like a video of playing a tape, I hope I'm describing it right
Yeah,
here.
you are.
And then at the end of, or maybe another video, same thing that they're playing, but you can hear it differently than the first time they re-recorded it live, or how you want to say it.
Similar to KSPS, Jim and Dave and Mike Simpson and everybody over there. They have several battlefield EVPs. What you would expect, some with horses. You definitely hear them running by you, running away from you, snorts and breath. Even if you whinnies and neighs in the background, like in a battle, but just the horses, not the shooting and everything. And then separately, you can get the buglers off in a distance, which is one of the eeriest things I've ever seen. As a soldier, I can tell you.
And hear the cannon fire and the gun
yeah,
fire.
it's one of the eeriest
And
things you've
the
ever heard.
piper and the drums, or the flute
Oh
player,
God.
whatever.
And like I said, with the bugle,
It's like that story you told me about the guy that got
drums.
punched in the stomach for singing Dixie on the wrong side of the battlefield.
Yep. And the drums, like sometimes you'll hear drums in the distance. We were sitting there having breakfast and they had heard a cannon. Hey, is there a reenactment going on? No reenactment. All of this, it's just time after time after time after time. So you got to figure around the world, everything's got this. I think some ground probably more so, but that must have something to do with, it's on quartz, it's on the rock, it's the land, it's
those
whatever.
Houses that hold those hauntings. They're mostly
why
probably going to be a wood-based structure or a stone foundation. Stone can hold energy too, especially if it's got quartz and certain minerals and things in there.
It's just it's incredible. And even looking at a story like we just saw with the young lady and 3 a.m. in the morning. Everybody says 3 a.m. Well, it's not the same time all around the world. No, it isn't. And what about daylight savings time? I don't know. What about, is it something that's been implanted in our heads since?
Well, it's like when I was growing up, my mom and my grandmother insisted that midnight was the witching hour. In fact, there was a DC comic book that used to come out of horror stories, and it said across the top, it's midnight, the witching hour. The witching hour is the name of the series, but other people will tell you it's between 2 and 3 a.m.
It's a good point.
I think it's whenever you want it to be, whenever you want to get witched.
And I think it changes with the energy and the narrative too.
And it might start at midnight and go to 3 a.m.
Power.
Yeah.
We give it power, our consciousness, because look, I knew my clock was 20 minutes fast. I keep it 20 minutes fast. If you change it now, see, I try to trick myself, but I know it's
I
20
used to
minute
do that.
fast.
I know
And,
that way.
but
If I
now
left on
yeah,
time, I was 20 minutes early. That was a
right.
good thing.
Yeah, but I know it, so I cheat myself anyway. But
Yeah,
if
it's
I
like
change
I
it,
still got 20 minutes that clock, and then
yeah. If I
you
change it, I'm screwed because I'll still think it's 20
still
minutes
think it's
fast, and
20
then I'll
minutes
be late.
fast, and then you'll be 20 minutes
And then
late.
I'll be
There you
late. See? So I just leave my clock alone. So I'm waking up at that time, and I said that to be, I guess, to be funny. I don't know. I was asleep. I rolled over and went back to sleep. I did what everybody says they do in this. I
I've
went
done
back to
that.
sleep,
I've turned
you
the
know?
alarm off.
And I just said,
Like
hey,
Midnight Society and her cookies. She
but
knew
do
they were
we
out
do
there.
it?
She turned her alarm off
Yeah.
and lost a cookie. That's what happens.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there you go. So, is it something we do with our minds and our, because like Steve said, the time has changed. And what does it matter the time? Is it something that if something's trying to scare us, using that like the 666 on, because they know what's going to cause fear? Or is it us doing it and waking ourselves up? Like people can wake themselves up. We've all known somebody that doesn't use an alarm clock and just wakes up at the right time every freaking morning.
That happens so many times. I'll set an alarm and I'll wake up before the alarm.
So
It's
is it
like
an
my
inner
body
clock
knows.
thing?
I think it is. You have a
It could
time. You
be.
have
These are all
a
good questions.
biological clock, if you will.
They're all good questions. So again, in hospitals, like Lynn, with all her decades of experience in the hospital, in healthcare, and especially at end of life care, she's seen so much from both sides, really, literally. And with so many people, and Steve and I have both had our experiences in them.
Oh my God!
Steve,
And
you've
my
seen
daughter's
the dark.
my daughter's mother was an ER nurse. She was a
Yeah.
surgery nurse. She did a lot of things, psychiatric nursing. She would tell stories that
The
seeing
dark
people walk
stuff
through
that
walls.
pulls. Yeah.
St. Mary's
Yeah.
Hospital in Knoxville, they would see a nun, like from the habits they
Yep.
wore around the
Yep.
turn of the last century, go down a hallway, maybe go into a wall where there wasn't even a door anymore. But that was usually an omen or a foretelling
Of
of
something
somebody
coming.
about to pass. Yeah.
Something wicked.
If
Ooh,
they see that, there
that's
you
so
go.
weird.
If they
Something
saw
wicked
that,
this way comes.
old
Look what just
nurse,
fell off the shelf.
there you go.
Well, it's backwards, but it says something wicked this way
It,
comes.
it appears right here. So
By the pricking of my
have you
thumb.
got your camera reversed or something there? Because that showed right side up.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Maybe I did. I think I did click that little do. And
But
it was backwards for
everything's
me.
shown like my Sabbath T-shirt. That's not backwards, is it?
No, it isn't. It says,
Okay.
how
But
about
I've had
that?
that happen. I've held stuff up before.
Are you guys able to read it in the right direction or just come up mirrored?
I'm watching the YouTube stream over here. So
throw me a
I can see it.
5. Oh, I guess I could too. Boy, Steve, you're smart. Look at that.
I've got it
I should
on
look at one of these 4 screens.
three devices here. Yeah. And I've got it playing in the other room on that computer over there too, getting you
I can't tell.
those watch hours and those
yeah, you're
ads.
good. Here, I'll hold it up again. There's such a delay here, guys. I know you guys think we step over each other. So I'm going to hold it up one more time. This is just for me so I can see it. Take a minute.
There's about a 30-second delay there.
It seems so long though. So, okay, here I go. I'm picking it up now.
What if you held it up and you didn't see it?
Oh, look at that. It did come out good. Good. How about that? We learned something new. I did click that button. All right. See? We strive so hard to make it just right for you guys.
This is
it's
a learning process for us.
So that's what I got
folks.
from that, because at this point, like, again, that was kind of what I was trying to say, is after, 50 years, I'm looking at these, don't get sick of another ghost story, but I look at it and there's stuff that I dig into, like why the bed against the wall. It made her feel better. She changed her energy. She changed it more on the defensive, and was like, put up her little wall and her intent. We get all that. Why a door would stop a ghost, I don't know. Maybe some can go through and some can't. So again, we can't put all these things on ghosts. We have to broaden our view of what they're capable of doing, because we really don't know, because I don't think they know.
That's our construct.
What do
Ghosts
they know they can do?
Yeah, they don't, our rules don't apply to them. We try to build this little ghost box to put them in, but one size doesn't fit
Try to
all.
make it physical, and
try to make
physical.
it to fit our understanding. It don't work that way.
Yeah.
You have to open yourself up to their understanding of what they are, how they operate, who they are, who they were, what they're on
know
the
they
way
can
to
do,
being. Yeah.
what they've learned they can do. Like, look at, like my little friend at the bar, he learned all kinds of tricks. He could jump into somebody and play pool and pick out a song in the jukebox.
Have a drink.
Have a drink, have a shot of tequila, no salt is what he wanted. Went over there, played a little pool and whatever. Sometimes he stayed a little bit, not too long, some longer than others. And it always was these people who were sad or worried about something or had a bad day or like drained in some way emotionally,
A businessman on a sales trip or
yeah,
had to
or
go to a
addiction,
meeting or convention or somebody with drug and alcohol
yeah,
problems.
an
That
alcohol
lowers your
right in,
defenses.
right in.
That's like the Greek word for witchcraft
Yep,
and drugs,
yep.
pharmakia.
That's all in that
Look
book
that
right
up.
there.
The
I mean,
ancient
there's a
Greek.
whole chapter on jumpers, I called them. Different ghosts that learn different things that they could do. Think of the movie Ghost and everything that Patrick Swayze. There's so much truth in that movie, even with all the ridiculous crap that went with it. There's a little bit of truth in it to where you got to think each ghost was doing something different and able to do different things.
And another one, don't
yeah,
mean to interrupt or talk over
no,
here, but
go
it's
ahead.
here on this channel, Abbott and Costello, The Time of Their Lives. If you
Yes,
want to understand ghosts from
yeah,
even though it's a comedy film,
yeah,
that will tell you more about
from
ghosts
their
and how they
perspective.
operate, how they
So
behave
true.
from their perspective than any
So true.
documentary or paranormal show that I've ever seen. And it's a comedy. But again, that's the reason for that. How that somebody wrote that movie, somebody greenlit that movie. It got produced
And
and
knew what they
filmed
were
and made,
doing.
and it went out there, and it serves a purpose.
Right.
It
From
can
the
entertain you, it can make you laugh, but it can educate you too. That just goes to show
absolutely.
you that you can
Yep.
learn from anything if you have an open mind.
Yep. And Roadhouse was a damn good one too. There's some lessons
Yep.
in that too. Here's your life lesson from Roadhouse. Be nice till nice no longer works.
Yep. Then it's fists and feet, baby.
And Cisco seconds that emotion. Because that's what I was trying to tell you about the day. There's some days where I know it's going to be harder. I'm sorry. There was going to be days it's going to be harder than others where I'm just like, I'm gray man. I'm just like, I'm in, I'm out. I don't want to convert because you're going to say something. And I'm going to be like, and I'm going to have to go through that. Does this need to be said? Does this need to be said right now? It's going to be worth it because people are batshit crazy. They are. I see,
and getting crazier by the day.
I see people coming into the shop all day long, and I'm like, you don't want to talk to me. Just right over there because they have all the answers. I'm just here. I'm a laborer. I'm just making beautiful things. I'm taking beautiful things and putting them together, making a bigger beautiful thing and sending it out the door. That's all I do all day, And some of these people that come in, and I'm like, good thing I didn't answer the phone.
Well, did anybody see that thing I posted on Facebook where somebody texted me the wrong thing?
I did.
Now, there was another part of that I haven't posted yet.
You might not want to.
No, I'm gonna show it here just to prove that I'm not a total butthole all the time. Let me find it.
Not all the time.
Not all the time. I have my moments, though. Trust me.
Oh, it's such a good movie. The Time of Their Lives, Abbott and Costello.
And I did the whole thing. And for those of you who didn't see it, I'll read it here. I got a text from a New Jersey number. Didn't know who it was, and never had a message from them before. It said, "Thank you for the steak suggestion. The taste is really amazing. Did you not go out to play today? The weather is really nice today. I was going to ask you for a manicure, but I can't get through to your number." Well, you're down the wrong one anyway. So my response to this text was, oh my God, you didn't really take that steak suggestion seriously, did you? I wouldn't feed that to my dog. I went out to play, but the neighbors called the cops because I was wearing my underwear on the outside and had a towel pinned around my neck like a cape. And I'm unable to give manicures currently. I severed both my hands in a mechanical rice picker accident recently, and I'm still getting used to these hooks. Soon, though, God bless.
God bless.
And I never got a response, but I did later. I sent an addendum to that, and I said, "Actually, you have the wrong number. I hope I put a smile on your face. Have a wonderful evening." So there you go.
You should have said, "I hope I put a smile on your face." I'm smiling them from both ends.
But that's what I do when I get. I'll mess with people, and I befriended an old lady one time. She was texting me and asking me how the grandkids were and this, that, and the other. And I was sending her answers. Oh, they're doing good. They had a play at school, and little Timmy got, won a blue ribbon. And then finally I was like, I'm sorry. I've just been winding you up.
I wouldn't do
you've
that
got the wrong number.
because
and
nowadays
she kept messaging me. She said, well, thank you. She said, you did make me laugh. She said, I wondered about some of those answers. She's like, I didn't know who little Timmy was. But you do. You have to be
this
careful.
Could be some bald woman in a moo chain smoking Pall Mall cigarettes, eating Cheetos all day, talking to, her house slippers and stuff, And but she might think that sometimes you just proposed to her.
You can make friends in the most unlikely places.
Well, you go for it, my friend.
But also,
so check this out real quick. I want to show you this. This is so cute. I messaged Steve real quick about it this week, and I'm trying to learn animation. I wanted to take Little Crispy and have him fly around, and have the boys look at him and kind of follow him with their faces.
How'd that turn out for you? We talked about that. I gave you my recommendations. Did you get it to work?
I've got it about there. I'm trying to smooth it out. It's still a little jerky for my taste. I wanted to do a nice smooth, but absolutely, I'm almost there. I just need more time. But in trying to get that shot, I'm standing there. The boys are sitting. They're absolutely adorable. They are 8 pounds apiece. One's just a titch over, but they look like so different. At this point, one is solid muscle and absolutely has the butt control of Marilyn Monroe.
Did you say butt control?
Butt control. And I'll explain that. He can, in midair, he can jump and in midair swing his butt. So he spins and does a complete 180 and lands in another direction.
Mulder does that.
And on dead speed. And he does it all with the flicking of his butt and his tail. It's an amazing thing to watch. But anyway, I digress. So we taped this little video, and I want you to look at it carefully and tell me what you see, because I think somebody joined us here and also wanted to be on the show. So tell me what you see. Here we go. And this is, of course, if you don't know, these are my boys. They are Spirit and Bucephus. Here we go. Oh my God, they're so cute, right? I know. But look at their faces. Now watch. What did you just see? What did you just see?
One of the Fae or an orb or a spirit or something.
I think it's Dickens. I think Dickens wanted to be. Now watch it again. I can't slow it down, but you can see. And it's not dust, and I'll tell you why. We're not moving.
Now you can, if you go back and watch the replay, you can change the playback speed of the video. I think you can get it down to like
slow it down
25% or something. You can slow it way down.
I hadn't had time to mess with it much. This is just recording right off my phone. Do you guys see it?
I can show you how to do that in Movavi if you want me to.
Yep, but this is the clean, I haven't done anything to it. This is exactly how it came up on my phone, and I just shared it so I can show you guys tonight. But isn't this a trip? And it's a solid one. You know how like dust usually is like almost like a translucent kind of. This is crazy.
Because saying she just saw something black out the reflection behind you, Cisco, while that was going on.
Oh, really?
And my active ghosts here have been pretty quiet for the last couple of shows, but we gave them the attention. That was what they wanted, and they've calmed down for now.
Isn't that trippy?
Because I'm going to go back and watch that after the show. I want to see it. Yeah, you can see it. So they're watching it. And
I know, isn't that something? How about that? Your left, my right. My left, your right. What are you talking about? She saw what?
Your left.
A reflection?
My right. So stage left. Your left hand. She saw something on that side. That's the way I take it.
It's not cold.
And you don't have any kind of green screen or backdrop or anything turned on.
Behave, one of the two. Be gone or behave. My babies are down there asleep and they don't see nothing.
Behave or be gone. Now, I used to hear that when I was a kid.
Behave or be gone. You cannot be
outside.
Here.
Now, you don't have any kind of fake background or anything, do you? That's all.
No.
It's behind you there. Yeah, I see stuff. I see your feathers moving around.
And dream catchers. No, that's
And
it.
a pile of skulls.
Empty.
Those are the skulls of your enemies right there behind you, that stack.
I keep them right here with me to keep an eye
I
on
will
'em.
eat cereal out of the skull of my enemy. Watch and see.
You don't think it was me? I don't know what you mean, sweetie.
She didn't think it was something you were doing, but something was blotting out stuff behind you. Something black was behind you.
Behind me. Well, like I said, be
We'll go
gone or
back and watch
behave.
it. I want to see.
Be gone or behave. All right, so here we go. I got one more. And I forget what this. Oh, this is a lady that was in a hospital, and she has a unique experience. Now, I picked this one because I wanted to know how many women have been in the hospitals or whatever. You know, it's a little different when you're having a baby and they take the baby away and you've got that. It's like the first time you're separated. You know what I mean? I didn't let them do it with me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some
Well,
people
you've
choose
carried
it.
that little
You get
bugger
the
for
rest.
9 months, and
Right.
then it
It's
pops
such a
out,
weird
and they want to
feeling.
run off and take it and do something with it.
Yeah.
You leave that
And you're
baby with the
so
mother. I don't
protective.
care if it's covered in blood and mucus and whatever. It
Right.
needs to bond. You need to hold that baby
Yeah.
until they make you let them
I
take
mean,
it to do
it's
something
such an
with it.
intense inherent. I mean, this is one of the most natural things. Here, let me tell you a quick story. I've done a lot of construction in my life, and I've worked for a lot of, trust me. And we were out there, and we were clearing and doing some demo on this land we were going to put in a pool. So we're going through and we're clearing some stuff, and at this one time, this cardinal, a mama cardinal, because they like to nest in the thrush in the thicket. They're like ground. That's where they put their nests, right? So this poor thing hears this tractor, like a small bush hog, coming, and she jumps out of the thrush and pretends that her wing is broken, and in front of this big machine to her, loud, had to look like a monster. And she comes out and tries to pretend her wing is broken to lure this monster away
I've seen
from her
birds do
nest.
that. And if that don't work, they'll start dive bombing your head
How
if you
does
get
a
too close.
mother not give everything to protect the child? I don't understand.
Indeed.
That is the most inherent thing in nature. So anything that can pull you from that, I can tell you, it's got to be some of the darkest magic you've ever
That's like
imagined.
these girls that give birth to their baby at prom and leave it in the toilet, or they find a newborn in a dumpster.
There's something
or
different.
Boy, you're going to pay for that.
Happening. There's something different happening. Just keep an eye on that. You know what I mean? It's just we got to keep putting love into the world. But right after the kitty vid ended, I believe. Okay, I'll take a look. I don't know what, I don't feel anything. Boys don't feel anything. Everything's chill. Like I said, behave or be gone. Period. No BS.
If you don't want none, don't start.
Don't make me like the stage. Don't make me. Yeah, exactly. Don't make me like the stage and multiple others. So here we go. This one, like I said, it's got a little bit of that for me in it because it's that whole mom bond with the child and what's going on in this strange hospital. It's just it's a great story. Here we go.
I'm going to step away, but I'll be
all right,
sweetie. Hey, Donnie Cho. Master Cho is in the house.
I went into hospital to have my child, and it was pretty fast, and I had him by round about noon. So I was to spend that night on the ward, and it was quiet. I had no particular feeling towards it. I was just kind of pleased to be alone so that I could rest. Until the night came and I started trying to go to sleep. I felt a little uneasy, as if I wasn't alone. And I just felt as I was going to sleep that there was some kind of movement around the bed. And I most definitely felt that it was not there for me. I never liked staying on my own at night in hospitals of any kind. But that one was particularly creepy, but it was very old. It was an old memorial hospital. The architecture was just very old. It used to, be used for the troops. Right next to the hospital are old railway tracks that are no longer used. Any hospital gets a little creepy when you're there on your own at night,
Debbie had been a nurse in many English hospitals. She had a feel for their ins and outs, and this one felt creepy. But she still thought she'd get a good night's sleep. After all, she had a quick and normal delivery. However, she was about to experience a long and extraordinary night.
I was trying to go to sleep, and I became very aware that something was around me. There was the cot where Jacob, my youngest child, was sleeping, and I just felt like there was this movement around me, this kind of curiosity. And so I just couldn't seem to settle. I didn't hear anything at that point. It was just a feeling, and I most definitely felt that it was not there for me. I most definitely felt that there was interest in the baby. And it wasn't that I thought that anybody physical, a person, was taking an interest in the baby, because the nurse and midwife and everything were just, somewhere else down the corridor. And there was nobody else in the ward with me. So I just knew that this was some non-physical thing. So I tried to go back to sleep. And then I had these voices. I don't know what they were saying, if they were saying anything. It just sounded like voices to me, but they were incoherent. Then I just felt nervous. I felt nervous, like I shouldn't sleep, or I couldn't rest. And so I resigned myself that I was not going to go to sleep. So I went to check the baby's nappy, Jacob's nappy, and I changed his nappy. And then I walked across the ward to the other end of the ward where I washed my hands. And as I walked a couple of steps away from the wash basin, the faucet turned itself on full force. And so I was a little freaked out, went back, turned it off. I was kind of nervous, I would say, when I heard the tap go on. But I was kind of, I had that feeling of, I'm not imagining it, And then I tried to go to sleep, and I didn't have much success. And I saw this young man. I opened my eyes, having not been able to settle, and I looked towards the cot. And I saw this young man, or what I would say was about a 15-year-old boy. This young boy sat at the foot of the bed. He was kind of dirty, and he had tatty clothes. He appeared to me to be a young worker, not of this era. And he had this bag. It was like a leather bag that you would expect to see an old-fashioned doctor sort of open and close and get their stuff out of, only it was dirty and tatty, and he was fiddling with some kind of tools or something.
I don't know if I'd be able to sit there and watch some ghost kid, take out a wrench, you know what I'm saying, next to my baby, and just be like, oh, look, he's got a bag.
What's he going to do with that wrench?
Patty and, kind of worn out, and isn't that something? Look at what's he going to do with that thing? I mean, I'd be halfway home by now, I'm just saying. Because there's that thing, that mom protection thing. How is she sitting there? Right, Aunt Edna? How is she sitting there going, oh, what's he doing? Because I'm not one of those people. I'm not one of those people that the kid in the bathroom stall and the guy comes in with that, what's that scream mask with like the Grim Reaper? And he just keeps walking towards her and she's saying, oh, Tommy, stop. This is just getting old. Stop with this. It's not funny. And, it's, you're too old to be playing these games and leave me alone or I'm not going to talk to you anymore or something like that. And before you know it, she's screaming, bleeding on the floor, because it's not Tommy. I'm going to knock you out. Just know, Tommy, if you're out there, understand. I swear, true story. This actually happened. This is why I don't do this anymore. And so long ago. This is so funny. My friends talk me, my drunk friends, they talk me going to the boardwalk. This happened in Asbury, New Jersey. And need I say more? And we're down there. We're all teenagers, all, punk and hard rock, okay? Mixed, and just dressed, we look just like it. So, just black t-shirts, some rock and roll band on the front of it, leather, chains, boots,
purple mohawk.
But yeah, I did it one time. I had a black and white checkered one. It was very cool. So anyhow,
I turned my light off.
We go in, my drunk friends talked me into going to the haunted house on the boardwalk, put on by the college, whatever. It's lovely. And I'm like, I don't want to go in there. Something bad's going to happen. No. Oh, come on. Before you know it, I'm in this group of screaming chicks and a couple of guys. I don't even remember who anymore because you just remember who was around you at the time. This is about 10 of us, maybe. And I'm in the group and somehow they talked me into going into this lame shit. So I go and I'm in the middle. And I got somebody behind me, and it's one of the girls I'm in high school with, and she's like, got the back of my jacket, and she's just, screaming the whole time, giggling and trying to get attention from one of these guys. It's one of those things. And I'm probably got 2 or 3 beers in me. Okay, in my defense. So we go in, and I always wore my watch, a beautiful gold watch. Nothing spectacular, but it was beautiful to me. And I wore it on my right hand, and I'm right-handed. I was just different, So you think about it, never mind. So anyway, that's where it was. And I go in there, and it's one of those where it gets real tight, and the halls get real tight, the hallways, the things grabbing at your feet and stuff. And I'm like, oh, geez, man, I freaking hate this stuff, And I'm walking through, I was like, how did you talk me into being in here? This is not a good idea. I was just going through, just go faster. So we start going by these things, there's these breaks. And, there's like these guys or whatever, people and statues and things up against the wall. It's really well done. And this is before all that, silicone shit and all that made it a whole lot easier. This is people carving this stuff out of old-fashioned styrofoam and stuff. Really good stuff. And plaster of Paris, is that what they used back in the day? And all the gauze and shit. So anyway, I go walking by and there's this Frankenstein. You remember this story? See, there's this Frankenstein standing there, big old dude, right? And I got a feeling this is a real dude. This is a real guy, And I'm watching, and the line's going, and he's not doing anything. He's not doing. I'm like, okay. We're gonna make it through. Nope.
He waiting for you. He was waiting for you.
He picks me. Big mistake. He grabs hold of me and puts that face in front of me, man, and I just went complete red. Just absolute. My Scottish and Cherokee came out of every orifice I had, man, and I just went at this guy and I started wailing on his face.
It's a good day to whoop somebody's ass.
Jump up. I gotta jump up that he's trying to pull away, and I hit him, and I got him really good with the first one. I knocked one of his bolts clean off. It's so true. This freaking happened, and he's trying to block. You know what I mean?
So the mama said, "Knock you out." I'm gonna knock you out.
Out of his mouth. Well, makeup. He's partial makeup, partial prosthetic stuff. Good college stuff from back in the day. And he's blocking his stuff, and I'm beating the living hell out of this guy. And I'm just wailing, and nobody can help me.
He jumping up and hitting him.
So I was. When he stood up, I jumped up, boy. When he buckled down, I got down on him and got a few in real quick. I mean, his bolt was just hanging off like cool, this.
Jay.
And he's trying to, and part of his forehead was starting to peel off. But anyway, the best part about this is nobody can come and help him from behind because he's blocking him from trying to block me. That's how tight we are in this hallway. And nobody can do. The one person that's behind me's got no chance of pulling me off.
Done beat the forehead off of him.
No chance. So out of this guy's mouth, from behind the mask, comes this muffled voice, and he sounds like Curly from the Three Stooges. And he says, "Lady, oh my God, lady, stop. Ow, lady, that hurts."
And you said, "Hang on, buddy, I'm going to get you out of that monster."
He got about 2 lines of that out. And the last 3 or 4 hits he got was just because I had momentum built up. Because I had already stopped at that point. I hit all brakes, so I heard that, and I just started busting out laughing. I turned around, and the guy that was behind the girl finally got a hold of my jacket. He's pulling at luck, So we go out, and I said, "Forget it, man. I'm not going back in there." I had lost my watch because I had it on my right.
It was embedded in his
I
forehead.
beat that Frankenstein so bad I lost my watch, and I did not go back in to get it because I was going to kill somebody.
So I went embedded in that forehead.
This is why you don't drink.
His mouth.
You don't go to
lady,
boardwalk.
stop.
Lady, stop me. I don't know who was in that thing. I never went back and found out. They got me out of there before I went to jail that night. But I mean, it was just.
I can hear him. He probably still tells that to this day. There was a lady that beat the piss out of me when I was dressed as Frankenstein.
Frankenstein lost his pride, and I lost a good watch. Lessons were learned that night. Now I wear my watch on this hand, and I never wore it on my right hand again. Swear to God.
He passed the watch later the next week.
Yep. That's that time they would probably stop thinking that night.
Paraphrase Dwight Cathedral was saying there.
Oh yeah, that time it's probably stopped ticking that night. I'll tell you what. But that was the funniest thing. And that voice saved his life. It was probably,
and you realize,
I was so mad.
Not be a monster.
I was so twisted up with adrenaline. By the time I was so mad having to walk through that hall where they're grabbing at your ankles, I was like, man, this is I don't like it. It's dark. I don't want to be here. This is, I'm just fair warning. You shouldn't touch people.
No.
Once you break that barrier,
That's
and
like
there was a
these.
thing. Look, I'm not joking. Brigantine Castle, you can look this up. Brigantine Castle back in the day hired a bunch of college kids from the drama from all the universities around because it was going to be this big shit, out in the never before seen. Brr, Brigantine, come on, come on. It was around the Crazy Eddie days. So it had that kind of like call, it was like a Barker kind of commercial. Like everybody was going to Brigantine Castle come Halloween.
Like those commercials that they
They're
had
all
for the drag
hopped up on
races.
LSD.
Sunday.
They're all hopped up on LSD and God knows what else. And half of them snapped and hurt some people bad up there at the thing. Attacked some people and believed that they were really the psycho killer that kills you with the scissors and chainsaw.
Well, that's like
was
some of
bad
these haunted
afoot.
houses they have now where you have to sign a 24-page release
Mm-mm,
because they're gonna
nope.
physically
No, you
attack
release
you.
just
No,
go
thank
ahead and
you.
release me completely. I don't want no part of that shit. Well, this one here, it kind of got me with the little kid. It seems almost residual, but he's got interaction with the baby, so I'm gonna say not residual. I'm saying intelligent haunting on this one, Steve. So far,
Go for it.
it's almost done. It's a little bit more. We'll finish
You
up.
had to pull over for a
I
minute.
felt that there was interest in the
Yeah.
baby, and I don't know whether there was more than him there. Perhaps there were, other spirits around too that were interested in the baby for some reason.
He might have been protecting the baby, Steve.
Yeah.
Just
You
there
never
for a
know.
few seconds and then just
Because
vanished.
in the
He
old
didn't
days,
fade
that's
away or
how
anything. He was just
babies
gone.
got taken by the fae and turned into a
Really
changeling.
didn't get
You
any
didn't leave
sleep
that baby
until
for a
another
minute.
lady joined
Right.
me at about 5 in the morning.
Hey, Monica Device, how you doing? Good to see
Hey,
you.
Monica, welcome in. Oh, it's cute, baby.
Hit that like
It
button,
is an old
everybody.
hospital, and if you looked out
Hit
of
the
the
thumbs
window
up like
on
it
the
owes
ward,
you money.
right next to the hospital are old, unused
By
railway
them train
tracks.
tracks, Steve. I'm telling you something.
Something about the way those rail beds are put together.
Those energy, ma'am.
I'd
The
have to
energy.
say he was something to do
And
with
it's
the
not the
railway.
rails, it's in the
And
rocks
he
and the layers
did
of stuff
look
that
as
they
if
put
he
there.
would have been a worker on a railway track, because one would assume that, in those days, 15-year-old boys did work on the railway tracks.
That's for fact. They sure did.
I think that there's more to the universe than meets the eye, and that just most of the time we can't perceive it because
Hey, there's Nora Harris.
we're too busy
Hey, Nora.
thinking, worrying, analyzing. Perhaps other people aren't quiet enough, because I'm quite a quiet person. I'm quite a still person at times,
like
and
what
so I
she
guess
said
some
there.
people just can't access that.
Some people aren't quiet enough.
Sarah and Debbie's stories both tell of classic residual hauntings. The ghosts
Yeah,
in these stories seem to
residual,
have
that's
suffered
what
trauma
he
that's
thinks.
left an imprint on the
The
environment.
writers think.
Their actions play over and over in the same way. Residual hauntings are believed to feature footsteps, voices, and visual images,
I don't believe it's
but not
real.
much interaction between the living and the dead. Debbie's ghost may have been a visitor interested in a baby born long ago, while Sarah's ghost could have been doctors checking on their long-ago patient. Sarah and Debbie both feel that the ghosts were attracted to them personally. But in residual haunting, it's believed those ghosts would act the same way no matter who was in the bed, for they are doomed to repeat their actions forever.
Such a good show.
Now, was
Such
it
a
you
good
was telling
show.
me about? I think it's in Gettysburg. You went down in an elevator and it opened up, and there was like a doctor operating on somebody, and he turned
Yes.
and looked at you, and then the doors closed.
It
And I
wasn't
bet
me.
you back
It was-
then
Yeah.
that there was a doctor operating, and he saw probably what he thought was an angel come
Could
out
have
of
been.
the wall, because there wasn't an elevator
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah.
He saw the wall open up, and there was a being of
The
light standing
energy
there.
that must take, Steve. I sat and I talked to Mark Nesbitt about that. Now,
That's what
several
happened
people
too,
have gone.
wasn't it?
Well, it didn't happen to him. It happened to people at the college that worked
Yeah.
at the college. There were professors and other people that were mixed in because it's happened more than once. Over just when I saw Mark this last summer, we talked about it, and he said at least 4 different stories have come to him about that. And the first 2 he puts the most stock in. Not that he distrusts the others, but they came to him in such a way and fresh that, anything after that is just gravy,
But it was like that
because
doctor was asking for
yeah,
help, like, look,
yeah,
can you help
because
me?
he did the whole room though.
And I bet you
To
if you went
manifest
back
that.
and if that doctor had a diary or kept
Yeah,
notes or
yeah,
correspondence,
yeah,
he probably wrote about he was
incredible.
operating on these soldiers and he saw the wall open up and there was a being of light in there and
Yeah,
he asked it for help and then
for
it just
help.
disappeared.
Incredible, and the amount of energy, Steve.
I think that
You
goes
know,
both ways. I think we see something in the present, what we're seeing from the past, those people in the past saw us. It's
could be.
a transference of energy
Yeah,
across this time and
man.
space.
It could
Could be, who knows?
it could be, or
I like to think about it.
both times bled into each other for just a moment, and again, what the other saw is incredible because when I talked to Mark about that. Now it's the hub for all the electric, and
Yeah,
it's like that, the energy hub for this, for that
yeah.
building at the college. So he has the energy source and the buildup. It seems to take time to be able to build up to do it again, but the
And
elevator's open if you don't know the story, and the people are stunned. They're forced to go down to the basement no matter what button they push. The elevator doors slowly open up, and as they open up, they're able to hear sounds, smells, and the entire atmosphere of this room, which is huge, opened up as it was during the Civil War and being used as a hospital, makeshift hospital. And people are in all state of having amputations and being
I think
fixed.
wasn't it just the surgeon? He was the only one that
Orderlies,
seemed to
he's the only
notice.
one.
He looked
Yes,
over
yes.
and like
So
that
yeah,
silent help me here.
yep. So we believe that it's Mark. Actually, this is Mark's theory. Mark believes that it's him. He's the only ghost that's actually there, intelligent, and that he's manifesting the vision he sees. What he sees when he sees the elevator doors open, we don't know. We only have guesses, but he does look up and look directly into the eyes of whoever is in that, stunned at this sudden vision. And he makes eye contact and pleads with his face and wows the words, "Help me." And it's the most incredible haunting I think I've ever heard. One of yours too, Steve, right?
Yeah, and I like I said, I'd love to go back and look through that doctor's correspondence, a
Yeah,
diary,
yeah.
anything like that, and
Did he
see if
see
he wrote
something?
about the time
Did he
that
see
he was
something?
operating on somebody and he saw an angel appear out of the
100%.
wall. The
Like, you won't
wall
believe
opened
what I
up
saw. These silver doors just came up
because
out of
you can
nowhere.
imagine somebody back then, they see us now dressed the way we are. They're not going to know what's up with that.
Oh
That's
yeah.
like my experience that I had in downtown Portland. I'd been down to Second Avenue Records. I've got my ripped up jeans on, a Cramps t-shirt and a leather jacket. I turned around the corner just as another guy was coming around the corner, and he's got on this 1800s get up, like
Oh
a
wow. Yeah,
caped
yeah, yeah.
jacket
Oh,
and a tall hat, and he looked absolutely horrified. Well, I went around the corner. He went the other way. I turned around and went right back. I thought, are they shooting a movie? Is somebody role
right,
playing? I got
right.
to get a look at this guy's outfit. The time it took me to turn around and go right back around the corner, he was absolutely gone. There was a busy street there. He didn't run out into traffic.
Gone.
He wasn't on the other side of the street. I could see all the way down the block for a couple of blocks, and that was a bank building there. There was no windows or doors or anything except way up high. He was just gone. But that look that he gave me, and he probably, I was in downtown Portland. I was on my way to this business meeting, and I saw the most strange person with ripped clothing and wild hair. I had a blue streak in my hair then. And he looked just like, oh my God, are you going to kill me? That type of look.
Yeah.
And I
And
get
it's
that from
also,
people sometimes
that
anyway.
that
But
he saw you,
and
he
I was looking at
acknowledged
him and
you,
we
and
saw each
yeah.
other.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
my eyes were bugging out
That's
because I'm thinking,
intense.
that's a
Yeah.
great costume,
That
dude.
is.
And
Yeah.
then
And it's those moments, I've had a few.
Cathedra, that was another time when I ran out
That's
into
incredible.
traffic. That was when I saw that glimmer creature. That was also in downtown Portland, but that was on 5th or 6th Avenue where the Transit Mall is, late at night. This was a broad daylight thing that happened when I'd been to 2nd Avenue Records, about 4 blocks away. But that whole
Yeah,
place
the
down
stuff like
there.
that's always
Portland's
incredible.
an old place, a lot of murder, a lot of blood on
Yeah.
those boards
It's like the
there.
streets of Chicago, New York, and all the,
Yeah.
the energy. That's what I'm saying about the hospitals. It seems to me like the concentration, as in a battlefield, as in, so many of these different things, mortuaries, funeral homes,
Yeah.
But again, you also have to understand, is there prayer involved in these buildings? Because that makes a difference. I mean, where there's a chapel, I've known people that were praying in the chapel that, saw things on the outside of the door that she had seen in one of the wards she had been in, but it could never get through that door. And for some reason, she couldn't put it together. And it's like, it's a prayer.
Yeah. That's a
So I
barrier.
wanted to
That's a
share this
strong
real
barrier.
quick. This is our artist of this weekend. This is DJ Williams, and this is his website. It's fabulous composer. Please go to the DJ Williams music.com. And so many things on YouTube Audio Library. It's been an absolute joy to work with this music. And again, there is a creator studio in YouTube that you can play stuff and get away on YouTube. And a lot of these composers offer their stuff for free. Kevin MacLeod, Asher Falero, so
Mew.
many, Akash Gandhi,
Yeah.
Mew, so many different people. So please, if you're a creator, go in there and try to get, the music, give them the notification, the notoriety that they need, and help share out their work. These things are beautiful pieces. Some of the music that we listen to on the
Just
show in the
if you
intro,
have a
incredible.
YouTube account, you have a channel, whether you realize it or not.
Right.
You can go into YouTube Studio. You can listen to that music.
Right.
And it doesn't cost you. Now, there's some of it you have
Not
to
a bit.
license it, but you
And
can
if you
listen to
do,
it for
if you're a
free.
creator and you make videos and you're looking for a lovely video,
There's
I
some
mean,
good
you
stuff
put
in
in there,
there.
you pick the mood, the genre. You want, ambient, you want hip hop, you want the
You can put in
classical.
the mood, you can put in the style. You can
Yeah.
really, there's a lot of
Yeah.
filters in
And
there. You can
going
fool
through
around
there
with
to
it and get
find
some
that
stuff.
stuff,
You find some surprises.
Yeah. You find some
I've
surprises.
discovered some people that
Yeah.
I would have never heard of that I absolutely adore.
Absolutely. And here's something that you guys may not have heard of. And I think Steve has. I think I've discussed this with Steve. But one of the things that I found is, on this trip, to make you guys videos that are entertaining as well as supernatural, paranormal, as far as keeping your lights on and dancing and laughing and good music and the whole shebang. I found some things, and some of the gifts you saw in the DJ Williams song that I did. I did it in the intro. It was the one where everybody was dancing. In that, there's gifts from a wonderful movie called American Pop. And if you have never seen American Pop, here it is right here. It is a fabulous trip of I hope you guys can see that. I wish I could get a better picture.
I'd forgotten about that. Ralph Bakshi also did Fritz the Cat and Heavy Metal, and some of those I think he was involved with, but I'd forgotten all about American Pop. It is wonderful.
Absolutely wonderful
I'm gonna go
movie.
watch that.
I can't get any pictures on here, but anyway, this one right there is absolutely a trip. American Pop, it goes from like the beginning of music, and it's all hand done. It's one of those wonderful movies from stem to stern that somebody drew, and before all the added CGI and everything. I forget what year it came out, but
81 says there on the screen.
Can you see it? Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it does right there. Fantastic. So it's an amazing trip. It goes through, it touches on everything from where they used to sing in the old saloons and hand out the lyric sheets and pay the young immigrant boys to go in there and try to get the bar singing and drinking.
Yeah.
And
in the theaters, they used to show sing-alongs on the screen.
Oh,
They'd
yeah.
put the lyrics up on the screen, the whole theater singing along.
Oh, yeah. So if you can find this movie, it's difficult to find. I wish I could give you a link, but all I can do is tell you about it. Go out there, find it if you can. Please share it with the chat.
It tells you where you can watch it. They're on that page you've got up there.
Right.
Let's see. It's on Microsoft, Amazon, Fubo TV, Vudu, Google Play, and Tubi. It's free on Tubi. So go
Is
watch
it
it
free
on
on Tubi?
Tubi
Oh, okay,
TV.
there.
I'm going to
Cool,
watch it
cool, cool.
tonight while I have dinner.
How cool. How cool. Tubi. All right, Tubi. Here
I'd
we
forgotten.
go.
That was one of those things when
Cool. I'm glad you can see
1981
that.
was the year I graduated high school. We would go to those midnight movies. That was the kind of stuff they
That
played.
came out like not too long after like Lord of the Rings, like you said, in The Hobbit,
The
and
animated
heavy
Lord of the
metal,
Rings, heavy
heavy
metal.
metal, and all that. It was
That scene with the
fabulously
Black
done.
Sabbath mob
Fabulous.
rules. That is
Yep.
one of the best animated
Touches on
scenes
every
ever.
kind of music, from the women singing in the fields to, to their families, and, the Roman, the Romania, and just everything all
And
twisted in
and if I'm
and
not
connected
mistaken, he
to
was also
follow a
involved with
bloodline.
Fritz the Cat. If you've ever seen that, it was an adult cartoon that was popular back in the day. I'll say
Oh,
that.
yeah, I do remember some
Remember
about
Fritz the
that. Yeah,
Cat?
yeah, yeah. I do.
That was
Yeah.
nasty,
But
but it was
that's a great
animated
movie. Go
cats.
watch it. Yeah, American Pop. I mean, and like I said, it was a surprise coming up and looking through the gifts. And
I'd
sometimes I
forgotten.
just,
Oh, it's funny.
man,
Sometimes
this
something
cut
that
it
you loved
again.
and enjoyed, it just kind of gets buried
I
back
don't
in
know
there,
why this
and
does
boom,
that.
there it
Let me
is.
see if the next one comes out. See, I don't know. Is that picture's covering the words, and I don't know why it does it. This one isn't. I could read
There
this
we
one.
go.
So I grabbed a couple of quick hospital ghost stories to finish this all out, and I'm going to read the small ones, and maybe Steve can, if he can see some of the ones that I've got up here that are bigger,
Yeah.
maybe he can join in. But this one says, a little girl
Let me
omen.
go full screen over
I've
here.
worked in a small family-run nursing home for 6 years as a nurse aide. It was an orphanage before it became a nursing home, and unfortunately, before being shut down, the orphanage had a history of severe abuse and neglect. Unfortunately, it's not gossip. The owner herself has told us. When residents get close to death, they always see a little girl. One of my patients, a very alert gentleman, he knew all our names and was very alert and orientated. I was passing dinner trays and saw that he had his back turned and was talking and laughing in the corner. I knocked and asked him who he was talking to. He chuckled and said, "This little girl came into my room. She was scared." He died 3 days later. About 6 months later, had another patient screaming about a little girl grabbing his feet, and she needed to leave him alone. He died that night. She came up over the years. It's always the same thing. They see her and then they die. Other co-workers have had the same experience. It's very unsettling.
Yep.
And that is from
I've heard similar
Piper
stories.
151. How
Yeah.
about that?
Heard very similar stories. Right before my mother passed away, she sat up in the hospital bed and she said, "Not now, children. I can't go with you." And then laid back down. She died a few hours later. I think there are people, children,
stories of
that
cats
come to
that live,
cross
in
you
these,
over.
Yeah, and it's cats that live in these nursing homes
And
and
she
stuff
was
that
waiting
go
for
in the
my
room
brother
and
to get there. As soon as my brother got there, and her brother, my brother and her brother got there about the same time, and then she passed away just in a few minutes. She was waiting. She was hanging on. It's
yeah.
like my
And some
grandmother.
want to go when you're
She
not
hung
there.
on till my uncle from Florida got there. She fought it. As soon as he came in the room, within 15 minutes, she
Yep.
passed. She was waiting
And
on him.
yep. And some, again, it's up to the individual. Some people wait till you leave to go to the bathroom or go home for
Yeah.
that shower,
Yeah,
and
when my
then they
brother
go. And
passed,
it's just their
he
choice.
waited and waited and waited. And when my sister-in-law finally had to go out of the room for something, she wasn't gone 5 minutes.
Yep.
And he was gone. He didn't want to do it in front of her. But the minute she went to the nurse's station
Yep.
for something.
And it's like that way with animals
Is
too.
it?
So,
Yeah.
just be careful what you think. It might be something that, completely different. So, there's no absolutes, especially with this. It's so funny with ghosts. It's always deeper. It's always a little deeper. And they pointed out about that. They could have been doctors coming in to check on a patient coming through that door like that. And why they kept getting, they must have thought she was a bad case. He had to get more and more experts. Let me go get another specialist. This woman looks, why does she like she's seen a ghost? Can you see this, Steve, or is it too small?
I can. I've got it over here.
Once you get this one.
Touched. I was working at night and one of the patients died while I was in the room. We tried everything to revive this person, but it didn't work. So after doing the papers and everything, I went to another place in the hospital, and I swear to God that this patient who I saw dead touched my right arm. I think that I have never cried that much in my life, and it's submitted by somebody named Gala Galaxy.
Gala Galaxy, lovely name. Thank you, Galaxy. Wow. See, and they go on forever. There's it's just so many, so many stories. All right, this was me. She wanted her ring. When I worked at a funeral home, I was told a story about an elderly lady that had died. The husband said he wanted her to be buried with her ring as she never took it off. My coworker was in the morgue and was washing the body. She could imagine having the job. Stop it. She removed the ring to mark it down on the paperwork. As soon as she did, a styrofoam head that used for wigs went flying across the room. She just said out loud, all right, I'll put your ring back on. No more disturbances. And that's from Wacky Detective. I love that picture, Steve. This is how, and I grabbed this picture. I don't know how well y'all can see it if it's too small.
Yeah, no, it's good. It looks good.
But that's how I feel every time I go to the hospital. And that's why I pulled this picture. The first time I saw it, I said, man, that's it. And I just want to, you know what I mean? I wish I could see that clearly because it's how I feel. But I don't have the ability like so many of my friends where you can just look over and go, yeah, he's sitting there in blue PJs and, whatever. But you can feel it, can't you, Steve?
Oh, yeah. It's palpable.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Without a doubt.
Want me to get this one?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Sweet Justice.
Absolutely.
Did a rotation in a burn unit. There are tons of stories that go around, but I'll share my favorite. A pimp lit one of his prostitutes on fire, and she immediately bear hugged him, causing them to both suffer pretty severe injuries. Unfortunately, hers included an inhalation burn. They were both being treated in the same ICU, but on opposite ends. Weeks later, she ends up coding and passes away. And after about 30 minutes, as things started to quieten down, the guy starts screaming from his room, "Get her out. Get the GD bitch out of my room." And that's my dog operates
better than you.
Okay, that's my mic booms in the way.
I'm so glad you got that one, Steve. I set that one up just right. That was a bit like playing tic-tac-toe. It's like if you move first and you take that block, you know where the other ones are going because there's only so many. And I'm like, did I set that up right? Yes, I did. Because I wanted you to read that one because it was profound. It sounds funny. But listen, if you guys know that kind of person, that kind of mentality, like old bikers or old, you know what I mean? Or old, pimps like this guy was, this is how they talked on the street. He saw her to be saying that. He saw her just minutes after she died. She went in there and she wanted revenge. And he's screaming. And you know what it reminded me of? Al Capone in the cell. And one of the victims, Jimmy, from the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, absolutely haunted Al Capone in his cell, not only in Alcatraz, but he was in another, and followed him later, if I'm not mistaken, and drove him absolutely crazy. And they blame it all on syphilis that made him nuts. And I don't deny that it didn't, but I think that ghost helped a little bit, just push him right over the edge, right, Steve?
Absolutely.
Well, this has been a nice little
we had a good
trip
time
through the haunted hospitals.
Yeah,
yes,
indeed.
Yes.
And,
what do you got coming up this week?
Do it again. I've got more hospital ghosts, I can tell you.
Oh yeah,
this week
tell one, you can.
I've got I'm over on First Floor Audio tomorrow night with Lee G, one of the most talented multi-instrumentalist I've ever met.
Oh, cool.
He's doing some custom stuff for 13. Talented. So I've got songs from Mario. I've got Lee composing stuff, especially for me, just like Mario did. And he's a great guy. Come over there. We have a lot of fun. I sit there with him and give him suggestions. And I've got some live streams coming up this week. I've got a couple of videos that I'm working on for each channel. Among the Missing, that's my new missing person channel.
Yes, doing very good over there.
Doing good. Just past 56,100 and something subscribers. So
fantastic.
Thank you for the love. Thank you for the love. And I've got the UFO channel, Saucer Cult. Right now, we're just playing the old flying saucer movies from the 50s. The really horrible, so bad it's good stuff. I've been doing those on the weekend. So much fun. And I've got a true crime channel debuting pretty soon. It's called True Crime Breakdown. And the easiest way to get there, tcbyt.com. It redirects you to the YouTube page. So same with Among the Missing. You can type in atmyt.com, take you right to my YouTube page. And just the fact that I could get 5-letter domains. That's amazing. Anything under 12
That's
is
for sure,
considered
baby.
good. The 3s and the 4s all gone years ago. They're worth millions of dollars. I got two 5-letter domains. So the
Yeehaw.
fates have smiled on me. And of course, there's always 13 past midnight. Danielle Diva that was in here earlier, she's coming on one night. We're going to talk stuff. Lee from First Floor Audio is coming on 13. He's going to talk about some haunted houses that he's lived in the UK. Sandy's going to be going live with me. I think we said Wednesday or Thursday night on Among the Missing and talk about all these cases she's researched for me and my various
Helga
incarnations.
researcher, great writer, wonderful
She's
lady.
best writer I've ever worked with and one of my best friends next to Cisco. But she's written hundreds of videos about these missing people. We're going to talk to her about what drives her, how she researches some of her favorite, if you could have a favorite missing person case, or some of the ones that have touched her the most, some of the ones that were the worst. And it's going to be a good time. It's a side of Sandy that many people don't know.
Sandy's
so that'd be a lot of fun. Sandy is
tried and true, baby. You know,
she's a USDA #1. And got some other things going around. I've got some stories on 13 past midnight. I've been doing those LibriVox things. Just people like to sit in there and chat overnight. I've got
they're always fun.
7 or 8 hour one going tonight about an amiable charlatan. And it's a story about a guy that's having his dinner. Somebody slips an envelope to him, and the adventure begins. It's a good story.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. I was thinking I want to do a T-shirt. I was starting to tell you guys earlier. Bumped into a guy somewhere. Can't remember where. It had to be a grocery store, and it said "spiritual gangsta."
I love it.
I'm doing those T-shirts. Will be up and probably available next week. Spiritual gangsta.
I'm working on merch too for all my channels. People have asked. People have begged. It's coming.
At this point, oh geez, what did I hit? Okay, I'm good. I'm back.
Good.
I'm back. I'm good.
Woo! Flash, but I don't.
I got a little scared. So listen, guys, I'm going to take us down. I want to thank again DJ Williams and all our artists for
thanks everybody
Lowski
for being here
for the
in the chat. Some of my people that are here, and my people are your people.
Thanks everybody.
But before I want to go, I want to ask you something. Did you hear about that guy? What happened to that guy that traded in his old Model T jalopy for a little red Corvette?
No.
He lived happily ever after. Cisco knows what I'm talking about, and a couple of people. But anyway,
there you go.
So, I'm the happiest I've ever. I'm smiling at both ends right now. I've got a smile across my chair.
Smiling on both ends.
Smiling on both ends. I don't know what that means. But Cisco said it one night. Yeah, Prince. Woo-hoo.
Yeah,
little red Corvette.
We like
traded in that
smiling
Model
on
T
both ends
and got me a newer model.
I'm glad to, and again I want to thank YouTube Audio Library with Pixabay and VidEasy. You'd be surprised what's out there, and I'll tell you guys, these gifts are absolutely inspirational. When you put in and you look at like silent movie and you see all these clips of these things, or the old cartoons, Steve. You know, just having Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny and some of these people like from tonight with, you know, the skeleton death fairy and the unicorn and
you remember Daffy Duck, stuff. He was always getting his beak knocked around to the other side and he'd have to pull it back around. That's what you did to that guy in the Frankenstein suit.
lady, lady, ow. And I started laughing so hard. Curly. And I'd had 3 beers because I had 3 beers. I didn't want to piss myself. I was laughing so hard. You know what I mean? That's the only reason they got me out of there. It was crazy. So anyway, we're going to leave you tonight with some more DJ Williams little dances out of here. I love you all, Steve. You know I love you, baby.
Be happy. I love you too,
Call
Cisco.
me this week. Let's talk about our spirit guides going out to lunch so much. We got to go with them one day.
Yeah, we need to at least sit in the booth next to them and listen to what they're talking about.
See what's up. Let us in. Haven't we earned a little something? You know, well, they've been helping us all along the way.
Thanks,
and
everybody.
Your spirit guides are too.
See you tomorrow night over on First Floor Audio. I'll post it on Facebook, but join me over there.
Keep your closet door shut. Keep your feet under the covers because there are things that go bump in the night. But you can dance away the blues. And here's DJ Williams and a whole lot of wonderful dancers to prove it. I love you, Steve. You know I do.
Out of here.
Good night, baby. We're out. Maybe we're out. Maybe we're out. There we go. Good night.